usual. All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 20 of the Below the Yellow Line podcast. We're already on 20 episodes. Holy shit. I'm your host, Velocity, and as usual, we got Joseph here. This is the show where we got I can't think of a catchphrase for this one. So don't worry about it. Tom Danny will be on later tonight. He's got some going right now, so he'll be on later today. We got a jam-packed episode for you guys today. We got the main 3 series of NASCAR going to Bristol. We got IndyCar's return to the Pocono Raceway, potentially for the final time. Let's get to it. I'll also be eating an ice cream cone during this podcast.
You better lend me an ice cream cone too.
I mean, if you're going to drive down here, oh, sure.
Yeah. So an action-packed race weekend, like you mentioned. Wow. Cup Series at Bristol. The night race did not disappoint, unless you're Matt DiBenedetto. Xfinity Series was hectic. The Food City 300 had only 6 cars finishing on the lead lap, and all the stars that entered the race were involved in wrecks. They had DNFs of engine problems and mechanical issues, so they did not have that opportunity to win the race. And Tyler Reddick had an amazing story. Last to first. We'll get to that in a moment. NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series playoff round 1, race 1 took place last Thursday, and Brett Moffitt went out victorious. He is locked into the next round of the playoffs. And the ABC Supply 500, like you mentioned, Will Power keeps his 13-year winning streak, like 1 win in a season streak, alive.
Before you continue, Andrew Ben says, I want to watch you drink a Pepsi. That could be arranged. Maybe not tonight because that requires me to actually run to the store, and I'm not going to do that now. But next week, that could be arranged. Before we start talking about the weekend, we're going to give you a look at the 2019 World Racing Media World Championship standings after round 4. Where's the share screen button? There it is. All right, so ignore that. That's not it. Shit. You can see I'm really prepared for this. Okay, here we go. World Racing Media Championship standings. Going to scroll down a bit. Let me put my ice cream cone down. Round 3. So this is what the standings looked like after round 3, basically before we head into round 4. As you can see, basically it looks like it's going to... Now, after round 4, here's what the standings look like. Me and Danny are tied for the points lead. But because I have more wins than him, I've got more picks actually right to win. I have 3. Danny has 2. I get the tiebreaker, but we are tied for the points lead. Will is sitting -4. Will, aka at NASCAR Opinion on Twitter, the founder of World Racing Media, boss man. Go check him out on Twitter. Really cool guy. Just bought a house. Congrats to him. But yeah, -14 back. Then we got Justin, who moved up from 5th to 4th in the standings, -26. And 5th place is our co-host here, Joseph, -31 back. And then 6th place is Thomas, -35. And then, as you can see, the gap is pretty significant from there on. Josh trying to do the last to first challenge after only scoring points after round 2 or 3, I believe. He is in 7th, -48 back. Larry's bad season continues, -50 back with only 55 points. Jeff, Bottled Up Radio. Jeff, by the way, check him out on our channel at World Racing Media and on Spotify and wherever you listen to your podcast. One of the best NASCAR podcasts out there. Check him out. He is -53 back, and rounding out our top 10 is host of Planet F1 and Planet F1 and CAL -54 back. So it looks like it's a 3-way battle. It's basically more or less a 2-way battle for the championship between me and Danny. Will is really the only one who actually looks like he can have a shot. Which, by the way, I'll show you guys this in a second. But yeah, Will looks like he's the only. Basically, think of the big 3 in 2018. You got Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, basically the top 2, and then Truex. He was like a level behind. That's basically what the 2019 World Racing Media Championship is, as you can see right here. Justin looks to be making a charge. He's on the outside looking in. Joseph and Thomas, they're starting to fall back. And basically, 7th on back, they need a miracle to make something happen. They need a miracle if they want a shot. Which actually, this weekend, for round 5 of the championship, we go to 5 races. And 2 of them are NASCAR races. So as you know, 10 points for the winner and an extra point for a stage win. So that means anyone here can come away with the points lead after next week. So let's say, for example, NCAL, he gets all the picks right, the stage win, everything. He gets max 54 points, and literally everyone else gets 0 points. He'll walk away with the points lead. That just shows how close it is. I mean, like I said, basically 7th on back need a miracle. 5th and 6th, you, Joseph, you and Tommy, you got some work to do. Justin's making ground up. Will, he's still lurking in the background, but it's basically between me and Danny.
Yeah, I had a poor weekend with my picks. Christopher Bell Friday night, and then of course William Byron for the Cup race.
Oh, you love picking William Byron, don't you?
Yeah, not so well after Watkins Glen, and I took another chance on him. Like, okay, see what happens. And turns out he had an abysmal race, and that really hurt my chances because he finished 21st. He started 21st. He finished 21st.
All right, so here's something else. Like, this is going to the tie. So I decided to keep track of wins, like how many picks you get right, which we count as wins, as to, tiebreakers scenarios. Will has 5 wins. And in all the rounds, he's only made 1 pick that wasn't NASCAR. And he's only 14 back with 5 wins. I don't know what kind of glass ball he has, but I want it. And as you can see, me and Joseph are tied with 3 wins. Danny and NCAL are tied with 2. Thomas, Justin, Jeff, and Josh, they all have 1. And Larry's the only winless, I guess you could say, winless member this season. Interesting. NCAL is tied for 3rd most wins, but he's last in the standings. Consistency.
Consistency much.
Exactly. And also, we'll announce this later on in the podcast, but let me stop sharing. But we made something where Coca-Cola much, hell no, Pepsi for the win. But for championship picks, for each motorsports for the championship, basically you get an extra 8. Let me explain this better. If you pick the champion right for your respective series, you get an extra 8 bonus points. So let's say, for example, Kyle Busch goes down to Homestead. He wins stage 1, stage 2, the race, and the championship. You can walk out of that. You can walk out of there with 20 points as opposed to the normal 12. So we'll give our championship picks for IndyCar and the Truck Series because they're basically nearing the end of their season. So we'll give those picks later on when we start talking about them. But that's a look at your 2019 World Racing Media Championship standings and, just see who has the most wins and who does it. So now let's actually get on to what you guys probably give a shit about more, the race weekend.
Let's start with the Cup race. Very surprising, very engaged race. It's one of those events, and I see that ice cream, very enjoyable. Yes. It's one of those races where you're just watching and feeling engaged with the race. I said that after Chicagoland, and I said that after Kansas too, and even Michigan last week, and heck, Pocono. If you're engaged in the racing, just like you're watching and the cars going around, like you just can't get your eyes off the TV, it's a good race. And Bristol never disappoints. Like the last 3 years, Bristol lives up to its name. The last great Coliseum. Denny Hamlin wins for the 2nd time at Bristol in his career. 7 years ago, he won the night race in 2012, which is another hectic race we all remember. And now he wins for the 4th time in 2019, 2nd at Bristol, running 3rd in the point standings right now. Make that 2nd, actually. 2nd in the playoff standings.
good on Denny Hamlin. Like Denny Hamlin's really come on strong as of late. I mean, in the beginning after the season, he was strong. Then like towards like the month of May, a little bit at the beginning of the month of June, he fell off. And now he's just really been on. I think like he has like a string of 5 straight top 5s, I think. So Hamlin is on a roll. Everyone said that Kyle Busch is the best driver right now. I think Denny Hamlin is the best driver in the field right now because the thing with Kyle Busch is I turn on my fan because it's hot as hell in here. The thing with Kyle Busch is he has top 5 speed. He has consistency, but he just doesn't have like either he doesn't have the winning pace or he has the winning pace, but the team always does something to where, he's finishing outside the top 5. So that's why I don't think like Kyle Busch, like, he's not really the favorite anymore. I think that Denny Hamlin, he's more consistent. He's up front more often at the end of the races, especially more than anything. I mean, that's why he has a series leading 13 top 5s, where Kyle Busch has, I think, 12.
I'm just counting. Sorry to interrupt you. Denny Hamlin actually has 6 consecutive top 5 finishes from Kentucky onwards. He's in basically from round 19 to race 24 in the season. He is on a top 5 streak. In fact, he's on a podium streak starting at Loudon. Second, first at Pocono, and then third Watkins Glen, second at Michigan, and now first at Bristol.
God damn.
He's on fire.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin's on a roll, man. He's third in the standings, and he's only 77 back of Kyle Busch, and he's only 40, like not even like 38, I believe, back from Logano. So it's like Denny Hamlin, he's going to be a threat for this championship. I remember after Pocono, everyone was saying like, okay, maybe Hamlin, he's not really a championship threat. After Bristol, if you still think that, you need to get your head examined. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and let's talk about the top 10 now. And let's get into the second place driver, and he's been on the headlines the last week, especially for recent news about his contract with the Leavine Family Racing. That's Matt DiBenedetto. He finished second place and led 93 laps, his career best race to date in the Cup Series. Anything you want to say about him?
That team is just on it. That team has been on it as of recent. I'm looking at the point standings right now. After Sonoma, I think he was like 25th or 26th in points. And after Sonoma, like whatever the team just clicked. Like I don't think they have a single finish outside the top 20. I think maybe Chicagoland and Daytona, but I think those were because of problems or wrecks. But they've been like now the team is competing where I thought they're actually now starting to compete a little bit better than I thought they'd be. Like Matt DiBenedetto, he's got top 10 runs at the road courses. He's got like top 10, top 5 runs at these short tracks. And at the mile and a half, they're running about, 15th to 16th, around where we expected them to run. So Matt DiBenedetto, he's been on a roll recently. And I know, and I became a fan of Matt DiBenedetto after last night's race, not because of his post-race interview. That solidified it. But what really got me was his intro to the race. I'm a Rocky fan. My favorite actor, Sylvester Stallone. So when he came out like that, I was like, okay, yeah, no, Matt, you're one of my guys now.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Matt DiBenedetto, he's racing off adrenaline. I said this before numerous times about Ross Chastain in 2019. Regardless, whatever car, truck he's in, he's racing off momentum and adrenaline. And you're seeing that off the 95 car, and especially Matt DiBenedetto, because of his contract. And that the announcement last week is he will not be in that 95 car after 2019. Presumably Christopher Bell. I'm just assuming, nothing's confirmed yet, but I'm just sensing Christopher Bell will end up in that 95 car next year, per rumors. And let's talk about Leavine Family Racing for a moment and why they made this decision in the contract. Actually, we can hold that thought. Let's get through the rest of the top 10 and talk about the Bristol race, and we'll talk about the Matt DiBenedetto situation afterwards. Third place was Brad Keselowski, who led 91 laps, 2 laps shy of Matt DiBenedetto. 93, which is the most laps led in the race. And by the way, speaking of Matt D, that's the second time in 2019 where he's led the most laps in a race. The other coming at the Daytona 500 this year, 49. But okay, back to Bristol now. So Keselowski finished third. Kyle Busch, who has 8 wins, most of all active drivers at this track, started 31st with a terrible handling race car, was lapped a few times here and there, got the free pass, comes home to finish in the 4th position. He led 30 laps, by the way. Chase Elliott, 5th place, his 3rd consecutive top 10. Kyle Larson, a great 6th place finish. That jumps him up to the 11th spot in the standings. Clint Bowyer, who recovered from an early race spin, he finished 7th, and he's 17th in the playoff standings. That's the first spot outside the cut line. And
We'll
his
talk
teammate,
more about the playoffs in a second.
yeah, Daniel Suarez finished 8th. His teammate, Boyer's teammate, Suarez, who is actually the last driver inside the playoffs right now, 16th in points, and he also finished as the first car lap down in the race. Kurt Busch and Ryan Blaney round out your top 10. Ryan Blaney sits 9th in points. Actually, make that 10th. Now, here are some notables. I wrote down notable drivers that finished outside the top 10 here. Ryan Newman, 11th. Martin Truex Jr., 13th. Bubba Wallace, best finish of the 2019 season in 14th. His 4th top 20 of the season. Alex Bowman, 15th. Joey Logano, 2-time winner at Bristol, 16th. And last year's champion, of course. 7-time champ Jimmy Johnson had an abysmal race. Came home in the 19th position. He's 18th in the chase standings. 2 spots below the cut line. William Byron, 21st place. He was my pick to win. However, still sits 12th in the standings. Eric Jones, who had a good run till the end before hitting the wall and cutting that tire, finished 22nd. He's 14th in the points. Eric Almirola, 29th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 33rd. Austin Dillon, 34th. And Kevin Harvick, 39th. He retired from the race due to a mechanical failure.
Obviously, the highlight of that race is Matt DiBenedetto. I mean, like, that performance that he put on at Bristol was just incredible. He was 10 laps away from winning. I mean, if you guys were in this, if you guys were to been in the Skype call that we had, I mean, we were cheering him on. Like, we were cheering him on. Like, we had, like, you know, we're saying, come on, DiBenedetto. When Newman was being an asshat and blocking him, like, you know, we were calling him an ogre to get him out of the way. Like, we really wanted Matt DiBenedetto to win. So it's like, it's a shame he didn't win, but at the same time, you know, it would have messed up the playoff. Which here's something interesting. Which we'll talk more about that when we get into trucks. But it's like, the more that I think about it, it's a thought that we'll get it when we get to the truck series. But yeah, great race overall. I'd probably give it like a 9.5 out of 10. Like, you know, it's the Bristol night race. You can't complain.
Can't complain at all. And even the spring race this year was interesting and just competitive. However, the night race beat it this year. I think there's just the entertainment value of the Bristol night race brings the value of the track, you know, 10 times more than the spring race. And of course, the spring race, we know lately they've had weather problems and trouble filling in the grandstands. So I think the night race lived up to the hype, and hopefully we come back in next spring or even next summer is for sure, but especially in the next spring, and be excited for this Bristol race. The fans got their money's worth. However, I really wanted Matt DiBenedetto to win the race, and shout out to Jeff from Bottle Up Radio for getting Matt D on the Bottle Up podcast at New Hampshire 3 weeks ago. So that was amazing.
Ryan Newman, you ogre.
Listen, Newman was running 11th.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna give off the top 10 in points, then we'll talk more about, you know, what transpired in that race and our thoughts about it. So updated playoff / point standings at the race 24-36. As usual, top 10 in points I'll give off, and then the playoff grid. So the top 10 in points, Kyle Busch leads the way with trailing behind us, Joey Logano minus 39. Denny Hamlin is minus 77 back. Truex moves up to 4th in the standings, minus 94. Kevin Harvick, after that last place finish, drops to 5th in the standings, minus 108. Just outside the top 5 is Brad Keselowski, minus 138. Chase Elliott, the highest Chevrolet, sits 7th, minus 175. Kurt Busch, back-to-back pair of Chevrolets, minus 191. Ryan Blaney, the lowest Penske car, the only Penske car now to win this season, minus 246. And rounding out the top 10 is Alex Bowman, the Chicagoland winner, minus 257. Interesting little fact: Alex Bowman is the only driver in the top 10 did not have 10 top 10s at least this season. He has 7. And let's give a look at the playoff grid. 9 drivers are still locked into the playoffs: Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, and Alex Bowman. Now the points: Ryan Blaney plus 97, Kyle Larson plus 76, William Byron plus 75, Eric Almirola plus 65. Those are the drivers who have at least a 1 race buffer from the cut line. And if we go on down, Eric Jones plus 57, Ryan Newman plus 14, Daniel Suarez plus 2. Now, here's the cutoff: 17th through 20th, 100 points within the cutoff. 17th is Clint Bowyer, minus 2. 18th, it hurts me to say this, Jimmy Johnson, minus 26. 19th is Paul Menard, minus 71. And 20th is Chris Buescher, minus 85. If you would have told me 3 years ago that Jimmy Johnson would barely be ahead of Paul Menard in the standings, I probably think you're on drugs.
I agree. Jimmy's just not in his prime years anymore. I said this many times in a different podcast. However, Jimmy is not the same 48 we've seen, of course, in years before. It's not that hard to tell. And the crew chief changed to Cliff Daniels. I said after Watkins Glen, they need a spark. They need it now. Just the last minute, improvements. Whether they make or break it, they got nothing to lose at this point. You just go all out Darlington, you go all out in Indy, and just hope for the best.
Jimmy Johnson not making the playoffs.
Let's talk for a moment about the drivers outside the top 20 in the championship standings for the Cup Series. You have Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 21st, Matt DiBenedetto 22nd, and if he won, my gosh, the chase grid would be completely different.
Oh, if he would have won, I'd be so conflicted, because it's like, hell yeah, Matt DiBenedetto won. Lightning McQueen, ka-chow. And Jimmy Johnson would be 19th in points. And then I'd really want it. And then it just really hurt. Danny, I know you're watching, man. I know you're going to be on soon, but our boy Jimmy's got to do something.
Yeah. And then further down the point standing, Dillon Brothers, 23rd, 24th, Daniel Hemrick, 25th. And pretty much if they win a race, if they win magically somehow, which we've seen in the past for the drivers, say, for example, Chris Buescher in 2016 at the Pocono race, when fog came over the racetrack, Buescher was out in front during green flag pit cycles. He ended up winning the race driving in a front row motorsports car.
Daddy, don't say that. Hold some hope. Hold some hope. It ain't over till the 160 lap at the Brickyard 400.
And how many wins does Jimmy have at the Brickyard?
4.
Yeah, 4.
Then again, Jimmy Johnson has wins basically everywhere, and we know how he's been the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, let's
not talk about Jimmy Johnson before we get even more depressed that he's 18th.
So the Cup Series have their final week off before the last stretch of 12 races. 13, actually. They're their last stretch of races. They have 2 more regular season events, and then the final 10 playoff events, pretty much the chase for the Cup. How do these drivers spend the weekend off? If you're Matt DiBenedetto, you take out opportunities you have by going to Road America in a Gibbs car.
If I'm Matt DiBenedetto, I'm telling Gibbs to piss off, in all honesty. Because it's like when Truex went to JGR. It's like, yeah, obviously it's the best opportunities, basically going in the same mothership and everything, but it's like, okay, you nearly cost me my job in the case of Truex. You shut my team down because we're kicking your ass. Yeah, let me just go to the team that basically nearly ruined, that was close to like, that just shut my team down, the one that I've had for like the past 3-4 years. Well, Matt DiBenedetto, everyone's saying he's going to go to the Xfinity Series next year. I don't see it happening because it's like, here's my thing. Why would Matt DiBenedetto risk his career in 2018 at the end of 2018 season? Why would he risk his career just to go down another series 2 years later? Unless Gibbs guarantees him a ride in 2021, which I don't see that happening unless Levine Family Racing gets enough money to open a second car in 2021. I don't see that happening. So unless, Gibbs tells Benedetto, okay, we're putting Bell in the 95, but if you go down the Xfinity Series and just swap rides with them, we'll have a ride for you by 2021 or maybe 2022. Then maybe I could say, okay, at least we'll know he'll be back. But if you go down the Xfinity Series, and you're just like, okay, I'm just going to take what I get. It's like, he didn't take that risk for nothing. I think DiBenedetto, I really don't know where he could go.
That's the toughest. That's the toughest thing to say. Unfortunately, Matt DiBenedetto may not have the rides open. I don't see any open spots for him going to the near future. Eric Jones, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Eric Jones is getting a contract extension with Joe Gibbs Racing for next year, so he's staying in the 20 car, and Matt D's out of the 95. Yeah, Danny, he's in limbo. Just looking at the comments right there. Yeah, Danny.
I said that. I did say this on Twitter a couple days ago. If Kurt Busch retires at the end of this season, we know he's on a 1-year contract. I don't think so. I think he's going to stay at Ganassi. I think he's really comfortable at Ganassi. He's really, but if he does retire from the Cup Series next year, I could see DiBenedetto taking over the 1 car.
Yeah.
Everyone says Ross Chastain, but I think Ross Chastain is going to go more to car. I think Ross Chastain is going to go to Kaulig Racing in 2020 with the second car. I think they already said that. They're like, yeah, Ross Chastain is going to be with us next year. I see that happening more than Chastain going to the 1 car. So if Chastain, well, here's another thing. If DiBenedetto does go to the 1 car, how long is he going to stay there? Because once the opportunity comes at Ganassi, unless Ganassi opens up a 3rd car, which I don't see that happening.
I've said that before.
Unless PNC Bank steps up or NTT Data steps up to NASCAR. They can open up a 3rd car and maybe they put Chastain to maybe the 40. And just imagine that as a team. Larson, DiBenedetto, and Chastain. You can argue whether Larson would be the front runner. DiBenedetto, I think, would hold his own. And Ross Chastain, we don't need to.
Might just kick ass.
Yeah, Ross Chastain just might.
I know this is irrelevant, but when I play NASCAR 06 in my career, the fight to the top mode, I drive for Chip Ganassi Racing. I'm like the champion there. So as weird as I could say, I can relate. had Chip Ganassi sign those 2 drivers and have Kyle Larson. And then Kyle Larson decides to drive like Jamie McMurray or Casey Mears did 10 plus years ago. Yeah, you'll get a team just like that.
Joseph be like, Joseph's like, back in my day, on NASCAR, I was driving for Ganassi in NASCAR. Granted, may have been a video game, but
I used the cheat code to earn money. Don't at me.
But yeah, I could see DiBenedetto taking over the 1 if Kurt Busch retires, because it's like, really, who else would Ganassi get? I don't see John Hunter leaving GMS. Like I said, I think Chastain's going to Kaulig in 2020. So why not just get DiBenedetto? Unless you're going to shut down the 1 car, which I don't think Ganassi's going to do.
Question: where's the money? Who has the money to field a car like that the full-time season?
Well, Monster Energy said that they still want to be in NASCAR. I mean, they're not going to be the primary sponsor for
Who they
20.
endorsed in the last 5 years?
Yeah, they endorsed Kurt Busch, but I don't know. Maybe they can make something work.
They endorsed
this.
Kurt and Kyle Busch for like the last 7 years.
Oh yeah, Kyle Busch. They'd probably move to Kyle for Gibbs. PNC Bank, NTT Data. Step it up. Step up to the Cup Series. Give Dibby a ride. Whether it's in the 1 card or place card Busch or Ganassi can open up a 3rd card, the 40. All right, so let's talk about probably the second, I guess, most we'll call it unpopular for now for reasons. Newman. What the fuck? Listen. I know Newman's hard to pass. I know it's not his job to give a shit where the leaders are. I know that if DiBenedetto was out, Newman's on the cut line. So I understand why he did it. But at the same time, like Radman said it in his video, in his stream that got, taken down. There's a sense of courtesy that's needed. When the leaders are at least a second away from each other, and you're just holding up the leader purposefully, like it's not like Newman just like didn't give DiBenedetto, just didn't leave his lane like Chase Elliott. Not like Chase Elliott in 2017, where Chase Elliott just refused to change lanes. DiBenedetto changed lanes, but Newman just kept going in front of it, like he kept chopping his nose off, and he gave DiBenedetto damage that caused him to get really tight. So I'm so 50-50 on how Ryan Newman rated. Like, I respect why he does it. But at the same time, he has no courtesy for everyone on the track. But then again, it's not his job to have courtesy for anyone on the track.
Exactly. His job's not to let do something to appeal to the fans and make them happy, make their day happily ever after. Listen, Ryan Newman, we know he's hard to pass. If you saw the Chicagoland race in 2018, when Kyle Busch tried to pass Ryan Newman, he almost hurt himself going through the next batch of lap cars because of that 31 of Ryan Newman. Now, this year, he's in the 6 car. He's at Bristol. And people don't talk about Ryan Newman finishing 11th. He wasn't 30th or 25th. Usually, even a guy like Ryan Newman in 25th place will know better to let them by. But when you lap a car that's in the top 15, and especially when you lap 2 cars that are battling for their own position, which no one's considered about with Ryan Newman as far as I'm concerned on social media yet, he, of course, has a right to be hard to pass. However, I believe there should be a fine line. And let's not forget, this is Bristol Motor Speedway. We're not at Chicagoland. We're not at Michigan. We're not at a plate track. This is a 2-groove racetrack where you rely on rhythm and, luck in the bumper. And lap cars are inevitable. It's a factor, dude. But seriously.
Hold on.
I'll wait.
You see, you fail to realize.
I am inevitable.
It's a requirement. Every time someone says the word inevitable, it's a requirement. I'm surprised I haven't gotten copyrighted by Disney. But yeah, like I even forgot, like when Matt DiBenedetto, like Ryan Newman's pissing me off this year. Just as a fan, like not even as a fan, just as a fan of other drivers. Because the 6 car, completely doo-doo. Let's be honest here. The year where Jimmy Johnson probably needs to make a statement more than ever. Who has he got to beat for the playoff spot? Ryan Newman in the 6 car.
Who did Jimmy lose to in the 2002 Rookie of the Year?
You know what? I don't want to hear it, all right? I don't want to hear it. Who has a championship? Who had more than 20 wins at least?
Jimmy Johnson. See, Ryan Newman kind of fell off the map after like his first 3 seasons at Penske. he dwindled, and then he climbed back up, somehow finished second 2014 in the chase in his first season for RCR, and then just dwindled down again. Ryan Newman is the lead driver of Roush Fenway Racing. In their eyes, it's probably Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And right now, Ryan Newman is 15th in points, while Ricky is running in the championship right now. Ricky is running 21st.
Just call him Icky.
Ricky.
I thought you called him Icky.
He's driving like that too. But let's be real. Let's be real. Ryan Newman is working twice as hard because his future's uncertain. I don't see him racing in Cup Series in the next 3 years. And I'm afraid I don't even see Roush racing in Cup in the next 5 years, to be honest.
Well, I mean, Roush is starting to get more sponsorship. I mean, like, think about how many races this season have they been unsponsored? They got more sponsors. I mean, Acorns, Wyndham Rewards. I know Sunny D, Fastenal, and Fifth Third Bank, they signed contract extensions last year. So they're getting sponsorship again. I don't know how. I don't know where all these sponsors are coming from all of a sudden, but they're getting it. So Roush, I think now they're starting to get like the finances fixed. They could start working to build the foundation again to work them way eventually, if they ever, back to where they used to be in the early 2000s.
Because I remember one point in when I started watching NASCAR, the chase for the Cup had only 10 drivers, and literally half of that chase grid was Roush. They had 5 cars in the chase for the Cup in 2005, and Tony Stewart somehow beat them all. It was literally everyone against Roush that season, and not to mention, I can't forget to say that when I also grew up watching NASCAR, Roush was the main Ford team. They were like the number 1 Ford team, and the rest would follow. You want to be like Roush, you want to be like Ford. At one point, the only second best Ford team would be Robert Yates Racing. I'm talking in the late 2000s here, before they shut down. So, in Stewart-Haas, when they switched to Ford, or maybe Penske, backtrack early in the 2010s, Roger Penske, after the championship of 2012, and they left Dodge with Brad Keselowski, they switched to Ford. That was really the season when lots of fans said, hey, there's a new top Ford team in the Cup Series besides Roush.
Hopefully Roush can get their act together. Newman has been good to the team. He's a veteran driver. He's got the experience, and he's been improving at least the cars. I even say he's been improving the 17 too. But God, they need to get a new driver ever since Stenhouse and Danica broke up. I don't know if Stenhouse is trying to make a statement saying, "Oh, I don't need Danica," because ever since then he's just been even before 27, even before 2018, he wasn't really getting into so many altercations. But ever since that breakup, he's just been making so many bonehead decisions. And I mean, it's reflecting even more this year. I mean, he's 21st in points. He only has 2 top 10s. I mean, he was lucky to get a top 5 of the Coke 600.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. can qualify the car, unlike Newman. Newman is better on race day. Well, Stenhouse usually has the upper end on qualifying.
If you would have told me back in 2005, Newman's teammate would be better than him in qualifying, again, I probably think that you're on drugs.
Well, Ryan Newman was literally a championship favorite in that season, and just any season around the mid-2000s, technically. But we all know Ryan Newman fell off his prime. And he actually fell, I think, in my honest opinion, he fell off his prime, talent, even in his first few seasons with Stewart-Haas Racing, with that 39 car. I mean, he'd win here and there, but I just we didn't see the stability that we saw in Newman. I'd say there was better chemistry, of course, in his early years in NASCAR with Penske than there was in any other season. I'm talking like 02, 03, 04, and then just kind of fell off the map.
The 2002 rookies aren't really looking so hot right now.
No, they're not. But the 2001 rookie is clearly on fire still.
I
Even
don't know
18 years
how
later.
that. I don't know how that works out. I don't know. Jimmy, if you could pull a Denny Hamlin and come back from a winless season, that'd be great. Please. All right, let's stop talking about this. That was our Bristol Cup Series, whatever you want to call that. Let's move on to you want to talk about Xfinity or trucks next?
Let's talk about the Xfinity series because trucks is a little more complicated. I mean, the Xfinity race was complicated too. Don't get me wrong here.
Oh boy.
Because the Food City 300 for race 22 of the 2019 Xfinity Series Tour, their second time at Bristol this year. There's 4 races left until the Xfinity Series playoffs. Tyler Reddick, who started dead last after an infraction penalty, which got him excluded from qualifying and forced him down pit road for an early race penalty, including an ejected car chief, started from dead last and won the race. He led
Yes, go ahead.
He led 19 laps, and he also spun in the race. Go on.
Not only did he start dead last, he went a lap down because he had to do a pass-through penalty for failing inspection 4 times. He went from a lap down at lap 2 to winning the race. I didn't get to see the race because I was working, but I saw Tyler Reddick was in front. I was like, number one, I picked him to win the race, but after the infraction, I decided to change my pick to Logano. And as you saw with the World Racing Media Championship standings, if it wasn't for that, I would be 11 points. I would have an 11-point lead. You want to know where that extra point is? We'll talk about that when we get to IndyCar. But I would have had an 11-point lead if I would have stuck with Tyler Reddick. And I'm high on Tyler Reddick. So the fact that I doubted him for this race kind of pisses me off even more.
So this is a bizarre finish. I mean, Tyler Reddick from last to first, a spin, an early race penalty, no qualifying, and he worked twice as hard for that. But let's get into the more interesting things. Only 6 cars finished on the lead lap, and I'll show you why. Second place was Chase Briscoe. He's 6th in the point standings. John Hunter Nemechek scores a 3rd place finish, his 4th top 5 of the 2019 season. Jeremy Clements finished 4th in the race. He actually started 5th. That's his best finish on an oval track. Also tying that 4th place finish in the 2016 Daytona Xfinity race. Besides that Road America win in 2017, his best career finish was Daytona 2016 and Friday night. Austin Cindric with another top 5 finishes, 3rd consecutive top 5. Greg Galding, 6th. And now we talk about cars who finished a lap down. Timmy Hill driving a number 61 car, which was a collaboration between Hattori Racing Enterprises and Carl Long's team.
Motorsports Businessman.
Yeah, MBM. 7th place finish. And as for Timmy Hill, a personal career best, tying 2 races at Daytona in 2012 and 2018. So 7th place finish for the 3rd time in his career of career best. 8th place, Justin Allgaier, probably the heartbreaking story of the race. He had a tire puncture while leading late in the event, led 131 laps. Rounding out the top 10, we have Michael Annett, who's on a hot streak with the top 10s, and Landon Castle, the Johnny Davis car. Now let's talk about notables real quick. And if I write in small print, that means a lot of stuff happened.
Oh boy, here we go.
Brandon Jones, 11th. He's also 11th in points. Christopher Bell had contact and came back to finish in 14th place. Noah Gregson, 17th. Cole Custer, 22nd, and he was involved in the multi-car crash. Ryan Sieg had a problem. He finished 25th. Kyle Busch led 137 laps before the engine expired. 29th place finish for Rowdy. Jeb Burton had a mechanical failure. 32nd place in the Junior Motorsports number 8. Justin Haley, mechanical failure. Actually, no, I think he blew an engine. It was a 34th place finish. And then 36th and 37th, Joey Logano and Eric Jones, which those two drivers were involved in that early race accident. Let's talk about the 6-car wreck. Or let's talk about the wreck that had 6 total winners from Bristol. 2 from Joey Logano, 2 wins from Eric Jones, 1 win each from Cole Custer and Christopher Bell. All taken out in one wreck.
When did Cole Custer win at Bristol?
Last spring, 2018.
No, he didn't.
Wait. No, this year.
No, Christopher Bell won this year.
Oh, yeah, move on. But yeah, seriously. Like the
I
wreck.
don't think you got all the nuts in there.
No, but about the
You know
wreck.
what? No, I'm actually going to look. You keep talking about the wreck. I'm going to look this up.
Now I'm second guessing.
Just keep talking about the wreck. I'm looking this up. I'm going to do a racing reference. Okay, Xfinity Series. Yeah, no, he got 1 win in 2017. That was at Homestead. 2018, he got a win at Texas. And 2019, he got a win at Fontana, Richmond, Pocono, Chicago, and Kentucky.
Whoops. But yeah. So basically, Joey Logano and Eric Jones were taken out in the crash. The contact was made. Matt Mills came off turn 2. Like we mentioned about Ryan Newman, slow cars, they get in the way. Whether fast or slow cars, lap traffic, they're prevalent. Matt Mills was on the outside of Custer, and they made contact heading off the corner. And once they went to the straightaway, Custer got loose and hit Christopher Bell. And Bell's car went up the racetrack, taking out Joey Logano and Eric Jones.
I didn't see the race, but Joey Logano was actually the pick that I changed to after Tyler Reddick's infraction. So that went well. I really had nothing much to say because like when I started paying attention to the race, it was nearing the end. So when I saw the finishing order, I was like, am I watching the German Grand Prix again?
I think this is the NASCAR version of the 2019 German Grand Prix.
That's whatever. Like literally, I just instantly went back to the German Grand Prix because it's like, okay, you got Greg Golding in 6th, Timmy Hill somehow in 7th, Landon Castle in the 4-car in 10th. What the hell happened? Like I said, I watched the race, so it's like I know like Kyle Busch, like literally, like as he was crossing the line of stage 2, his engine just died.
Which I thought was a tire.
When that happened, I just started laughing. Like I watched the video, I just started laughing. I was like, how does that like? What? I just started laughing. It was hilarious. As my speaker turns off. But yeah, I really don't have that much to say because I didn't watch the race other than just what that's literally all I could think of. My favorite part of the race is how Kyle Busch blew an engine at the end of stage 2. That was hilarious.
Okay, and the next race,
hold on, before we move on to the trucks. Well, actually, before we move on to the trucks, you got to give I'm going to get the point standings to the Xfinity Series either way, even though they're basically the same. But before I give that, interesting. So, in the World Racing Media Championship, only 3 people scored points. I believe it was. Hold on, I still got the Google Docs open up. I'll have that answer in a second. Go all the way down. Come on. Okay, so yeah, only 3 people scored points. NASCAR Opinion, Thomas, and Bottled Up Radio. Because Kyle Busch won stage 2, they got an extra point despite him DNFing. Literally, everyone else didn't score. But actually, everyone here, basically, everyone's pick basically DNF'd. No one's pick finished on the lead lap. I think only maybe 1 or 2 of them actually finished the race. So that was not a good day for any of us, let's just say that. I regret picking Logano. I just regret this whole week of my picks in general. All right, on to the Xfinity Series points. I'll give you the top 10. Tyler Reddick is the points leader. No surprise there. Christopher Bell, he extends his points lead. Christopher Bell is now minus 54. Cole Custer. Cole Custer needs to make something. Cole Custer needs to get back on track. He's minus 139.
Yeah.
He's only 20 points in front of Justin Allgaier in 4th, who is minus 159. Austin Cindric is 5th, minus 193. I don't know. Justin Allgaier, I love the guy. He used to be my favorite Xfinity driver. But, like, those stage points are what's keeping him at 4th. Chase Briscoe is 6th, minus 236. Noah Gragson 7th, minus 250. Michael Annett 8th, minus 283. Just hailing the colleague number 11, minus 317. And John Nemechek rounds out the top 10, minus 325. What a shocker. Brandon Jones is in the top 10. Hashtag useless. The playoff grid. Basically, everyone is locked in. But I'm just going to say who's locked. I'm just going to give it a point, the usual stuff. Locked in with wins, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, and Michael Annett. Those who are in on points, Justin Allgaier plus 325, Noah Gragson plus 234, Justin Haley plus 167, John Nemechek plus 159, Brandon Jones finally isn't on the bottom of the playoff grade. Only took him like 2 months to actually make that happen. Plus 115, and Ryan Sieg is 12th, plus 97. And 13th through 15th, 200 back. I have to do 200 back because there's literally only one driver who's less than 100 back. And that's Gray Galding, minus 97. 14th, it's Jeremy Clements, minus 137. And 15th is my guy, Brandon Brown, minus 173. And that's your Xfinity Series playoff grid. Now, speaking of playoffs, let's talk about the actual playoffs that started. The Truck Series. The horrible announcing from Fox. They need to get some new guys in the booth, but I digress.
Let's talk about the Truck Series. So this is basically, this was round 17 of 33 of the season.
20.
And as for the 23. I said that on the call too this morning on Skype.
Where's Danny when you need him?
Okay. So this was the first round of the playoffs, best of 8, race 1 of 3. And let's talk about the race itself. So here's the top 10. Brett Moffitt scores his 3rd victory of 2019. Led 65 laps. Chandler Smith, the 17-year-old, finished second, his career best finish in the KBM number 51. Ross Chastain led the most laps at 78, finished 3rd. Stuart Friesen 4th, Grant Enfinger 5th. Sheldon Creed 6th, Matt Crafton 7th, Ben Rose 8th, Todd Gilliland 9th, Austin Hill 10th. And the 2 playoff drivers outside the top 10 from the race, Johnny Sauter 11th and Tyler Ankrum 20th.
Yeah, I saw like half of the Truck Series race, and from what I saw, it was pretty good. My pick to win the race was Stuart Friesen. He finished 4th, so that was really my only highlight of the week for points wise. But yeah, it was a fairly entertaining race. I thought Chandler Smith would have got to him on that last restart, but no, Brett Moffitt was able to hold him off, just showing that veteran experience. So good for Brett Moffitt. Which actually, let's talk about the playoff. Let's talk about the playoff grid. So I got it right here. So
Me too, bud.
we both got it. I'm using the World Racing Media Twitter. You got to use your own brand. You know what I'm saying? So Brett Moffitt is locked in. Ross Chastain is second, plus 25. Stuart Friesen third, plus 17. Grant Enfinger, Matt Crafton are tied, plus 13. And Johnny Sauter is on the bubble, plus 3. Austin Hill is seventh, minus 3 points out. And Tyler Ankrum is eighth, minus 13 out. So I was kind of surprised to see Austin Hill out minus 3, especially with Austin Hill being ahead of Johnny Sauter. I don't know. I guess it's because Johnny Sauter scored stage points.
Yeah, he must have. Because Sauter's in 3 points ahead of the cut line. And Austin Hill is minus 3. But Brett Moffitt won the race, so he's in. He's advanced into the next set of races, which is the round of 6. But yeah, Johnny Sauter lucked out at Bristol. And I think his experience at the track, racing for over 2 decades at an easy, familiar speedway, has played into the experience and why he got a good finish there. He's a veteran. That's all.
Yeah. Even having a bad season like he is this year.
And so yeah, Ross Chastain second in the championship right now. Stuart Friesen third. Matt Crafton fourth. Grant Enfinger is fifth. Sauter sixth. And then outside the cut line, so yeah, minus 3 is Austin Hill. Minus 3 points, he's seventh. And then minus 13 points and eighth is Tyler Ankrum. My opinion, I think Ankrum's out. He lucked his way in the chase, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Ankrum is out, and I think Sauter's out. I said it in last week's podcast, I think those who are going to be eliminated in the round of 8 are Tyler Ankrum and Johnny Sauter. I think Austin Hill, he just had better luck and more consistency than Johnny Sauter, in my opinion. And especially going to tracks like Mosport might be a factor. I don't know where he finished last year in the Young Motorsports truck. And Las Vegas, I think that'll favor Austin Hill more than anything, more than Sauter. So yeah, I still think that Sauter will be out and Austin Hill will be into the round of 6. Tyler Ankrum, I think he's out as well. I mean, he could always win Las Vegas. I mean, it's a mile and a half. He won at Kentucky. He led the most laps at Kentucky. So, but yeah, so let's give it a look at like I said at the top of the hour about the World Racing Media Championship on our title picks. So for the Truck Series, I'll share screens with you again so I could show you guys who is each member's picks for the Truck Series title. So here you go. I got Brett Moffitt going back-to-back at Homestead, which means that him winning Bristol in the long run is good for me. And as you can see here, Danny has got Ross Chastain. Will, aka NASCAR Opinions, got Johnny Sauter. I told him he's probably on drugs for thinking that this year. Justice got Stuart Friesen, and Joseph also with Brett Moffitt as well. Thomas has Ross Chastain. Well, you're going to see a lot of Brett Moffitt and Ross Chastain on this list. Thomas has Ross Chastain. NCAL also has Johnny Sauter. Larry's also got Brett Moffitt. And Bottled Up Radio, aka Jeff, has Matt Crafton going for 3 titles. And NASCAR Josh, host of the Checkered Flag, got Grant Enfinger, the regular season champion, taking it all at Miami. So yeah, all I could say is hopefully Moffitt makes it. I think he's going to go back to back, and hopefully that'll be in an extra 8 bonus points for my championship hopes.
Yeah, I think the next race, when we get to Mosport, the drivers will work extra hard, and now we have a road course, the only road race of this season, and I still have no clue who of those 8 drivers will come out on top. I'm thinking probably someone like Crafton or Enfinger because they're racing endurance in their off time together in that Ford Mustang in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, which is this is like the minor league to the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. They ran Sebring and I think Daytona, if I'm not mistaken, but I know they ran Sebring. I think that experience, will help guys like Crafton or Enfinger.
Well, that's our talk for the NASCAR Truck Series race. Now, let's move on to the final race of the weekend. The NTT IndyCar Series went to Pocono potentially for the last time. I got some opinions on that one. If you see me on Twitter, which by the way is at 87 Velocity, by the way, shameless plug-in. If you see my Twitter, you've seen what I thought about it. But yeah, the Pocono 500. Let's talk about it.
Pocono 500 or Pocono 420? I'm not talking about weed. I'm talking about
Where's Danny when you need him?
I'm talking about racing. Actually, no. If there's a Pocono 400, wouldn't that be 160 laps?
Yeah, that's what NASCAR
So
does.
Pocono 350. Will Power scores his 36th career win and his third at Pocono. The first win of 2019. And here's a fun fact. Since 2007, every season Will Power has entered, he's won at least one race. Since 2007, when he got that first Champ Car win at Las Vegas. Every year, he's won at least one race, and that streak continues with the Pocono win. And the race was shortened to 128 laps due to weather. And there was an eventful race from the get-go. We had a multi-car crash on lap 1, taking out championship favorite Alexander Rossi. But let's talk about the results first of all. Will Power led 31 laps en route to his first victory of the year and his third at Pocono. Scott Dixon, last year's champion, who sits fourth in points, led 32 laps for a second-place finish. Simon Pagenaud finished third. He led 64 laps, more than any other driver in the race. Santino Ferrucci, his fourth-place finish, ties Texas for his career best in the IndyCar Series. Joseph Newgarden, the points leader, came home fifth. A very solid run for the championship favorite. And then here's the rest of the results. Ed Carpenter, 6th. Sebastian Bourdais, 7th. Tony Kanaan, 8th. Graham Rahal, 9th. Charlie Kimball, 10th. Connor Daly, 11th. Marcus Ericsson, 12th. Zach Veach, 13th. Matthias Lace, 14th. Marco Andretti, 15th. And here are the drivers retired from the race. Colton Herta crashed out. He finished 16th. Spencer Pigot finished 17th after his single car incident. And now here are the drivers that retired from the race due to the lap 1 incident. Even though Rossi continued on, he was in the garage for extensive repairs and came back out. He finished 18th. And Ryan Hunter-Reay, James Hinchcliffe, Takuma Sato, Felix Rosenqvist, all out from lap 1.
Yeah, so I said I'd say earlier where I got 11 points. I originally picked Will Power to win Pocono. And then I wasn't confident in it because I was like, Will Power's having a horrible season. So I went with Simon Pagenaud. In the beginning of the race, I was like, okay, looks like I made the right decision. Ha! But yeah, good for Will Power. I mean, he's had a horrible season, so it's like at least good to know that at least he got a win thrown in the mix as well. Hold on. I'll continue my thoughts in a second, and then I'm going to give you some breaking news sent in from Thomas. You know what? We're giving you the breaking news now. All right, so Thomas just sent this. I believe this from. I'm guessing this is from Adam Stern. Don't quote me on that. But Stuart Haas Racing is talking to Go Fast Racing about a potential new alliance, as Nate Ryan first reported. Cole Custer has been mentioned as an option for the 32, but Corey LaJoie may stay, which made that a moot point. Front row is an option for LaJoie if he retires.
So basically, Cole Custer to the 32.
Yep. I mean, everyone's been talking about Front Row Motorsports. We completely forgot about Go Fast Racing. And the more I think about it, that'd probably be better off for Stewart-Haas Racing. You're only funding one car instead of three. You could put Cole Custer in there. Obviously, no one really cares about Corey LaJoy. I'm sorry, Corey LaJoy. That's rude to Corey LaJoy. I'm sorry, Corey LaJoy. Corey LaJoy is not a priority. Let's put it like that. I'm sorry, Corey. Yeah, that's a why Front Row Motorsports. Front Row Motorsport. LaJoy to Front Row. I could see that happening. I mean, that'd probably be LaJoy's best ride he's ever gotten. Then again, Front Row isn't really the best. I mean, their highest driver's Michael McDowell in 27th. So, but yeah, Stewart-Haas with an alliance with Go Fast Racing. I could see that happening.
We just got a comment there. Danny Garrett 48 said, "Why not or why Front Row Motorsports?"
I don't know. Yeah, from Adam Stern right here. It says it right here. You uploaded 7 minutes ago. Cole Custer to the 32, an alliance with Stewart-Haas Racing. I'm just trying to think of that right now. Here's the thing. I think Cole Custer will be in the Cup Series, but I just didn't think that he'd be going to Stewart-Haas. Because here's why. Cole Custer is a good driver, but he's a slow learner. He's a driver that needs developmental time. He's not, I mean, look how long it's taken him just to win multiple races in Xfinity. I mean, in 2017, he got one win, and that was in the final race at Homestead. 2018, he was in top 5 of points, but it took until Texas to get a win, and even then, I think he only got it because of a restart. So 2018, he needs time to develop, which is why I think I said I don't think they're going to put him straight into the mothership team, which is why I think they were thinking about a technical alliance. But Cole Custer to the 32, I like the sound of that. Cole Custer, I feel like he'll be running where Christopher Bell runs in the 95. Be in the 15th to 20th place area. That's what I think is going to happen, because this is really going to be the first time for a rookie battle where the rookie drivers at least have success. Well, where basically all the rookies had success in the lower division and have time to develop there. In 2016, all that was really there was Chase Elliott. I mean, you got Chris Buescher, but Chris Buescher was in the 34. Yeah, he won at Pocono, but 34. Ryan Blaney never really had a full-time season in Xfinity. 2017, I mean, you had Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez, so there goes my argument. 2018, William Byron only had one season. Bubba Wallace had a year and a half. 2019, Daniel Hemrick had 2 seasons, but he never really won. And Ryan Preece, he never really had a full season of anything besides modifieds. I think 2020 is going to be a rookie season to look out for. The top 3 in the Xfinity Series, because Cole Custer, I think, will be in the Cup Series next year. Christopher Bell is basically confirmed to be in the Cup Series next year. Tyler Reddick, I think, will be in the Cup Series next year. So it'll be interesting to watch those 3, who could be on top in the Cup Series. I think it'll be Tyler Reddick. But Cole Custer to 32, I like that move. I think that's the best move for Stewart-Haas Racing to go, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think it's a decent move on all opinions. You don't have to jump in a top ride the moment you reach in the Cup Series. Listen, I know Cole Custer has family ties to Gene Haas, and so therefore he's probably going to end up in Stewart-Haas Racing. But seriously, I think it's a good deal, even though he's in Front Row Motors or what's the team? Go Fast Racing. There's nothing wrong with it. And then, of course, Christopher Bell, rumored to be in the 95 next year. I think he'll do great in that car.
I gave my stats for what I think Christopher Bell is going to perform in the Cup Series. Let me just say it now, and then we'll go back to the Pocono talk because I want to talk about. Oh, Justin's getting on, so we'll get his thoughts on the rumor as well. But as I said, let me scroll down here. as we have a moment of silence for all this scrolling down. Oh boy. I need to relax a little bit on Twitter. Okay, I think I remembered. So I think it was Christopher Bell. I had a 0 wins, 4 top 5s, 9 top 10s. An average, basically his average start would be 15th. His average finish would be 18.8. He'd finish, I think I said 19th or 20th in points. And lead 100 laps. That's what I think Christopher Bell's 2020 Cup Series stats will be. Nothing crazy, nothing out of this world, but not bad. It's solid for the team that he's running for. Or I can be completely wrong. I mean, one of the reasons I haven't been as high in putting Christopher Bell in the Cup Series is because we've never seen him in a Cup car. With Tyler Reddick, he's had 2 Cup starts. He was running top 15 in the 500, and he was competing for the win at Kansas. Cole Custer, he had 2 or 3 Cup starts in 2017. And I believe he qualified in the top 10, I think, for 2 of them. So we know what they can do with a Cup car.
By the way, that's Eric Jones. Eric Jones did that years before his actual first Cup season, which was in the Furniture Row 77 car in 2017. He ran as a fill-in driver for Kyle Busch and a relief driver for Busch Hamlin and a fill-in driver for the suspended Matt Kenseth on the 2015 season while he's a truck driver winning the championship and running Xfinity races part-time too, driving like he's Kyle Busch. And when people say, and I don't want to go into the Eric Jones debate because when people say Eric Jones is lackluster, I'm the first to say no. But Christopher Bell is not in the Cup Series running part-time of any sort, and I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I am worried about that too, because that's why I'm holding back on putting him on saying that he needs to be in the Cup Series, because that was what I think really hurt William Byron last year. It wasn't that obviously he was rushed, but he had 0 practice in Cup cars. So it's and obviously we saw his rookie season panned out. I mean, he didn't finish in the top 5 once. He only got 4 top 10s. So that's why I'm worried about Christopher Bell going into the Cup Series. I'll probably be proven wrong because I think Christopher Bell's more talented than William Byron. Or I think Christopher Bell and William Byron are probably the same. Because people forget in 2017, his rookie season, William Byron, when he won the championship, and William Byron was on a tear. So yeah, I think Christopher Bell, what's going to hurt him is his lack of experience at the Cup cars. It's just why it's actually my prediction of the 3 rookies in the Cup Series, which is basically going to be, it's not confirmed yet, it's basically going to be Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Cole Custer. I think Christopher Bell is going to finish last out of all of them. And I don't even think they're all going to finish that bad. I mean, I got Christopher Bell finishing 19th in points. I think Tyler Reddick will make the playoffs as a rookie. And I think Cole Custer will probably be around the 17th, 16th spot.
Yeah, this isn't a one race deal. In the Daytona 500, I always look out for the one-off appearances in the Daytona 500 when it comes to teams or drivers that are in and out, and that's it. Like Tyler Reddick in the 31 car, or Jamie McMurray in the 40. Spire Motorsports, Chip Ganassi had a collaboration, which we're probably forgotten about now that Justin Haley won for Strictly Spire Motorsports in the July race. Let's say Casey Mears made the 500 driving for Germain Racing in a blank 27 car.
Hey, okay. Drum roll, please.
With my pen.
All right, you can stop with the drum roll now.
I did a drum roll with a pen.
Hey, Justin. So you just came on. So did you hear the news? Go Fast might have an alliance with Stuart Haas next year, and Cole Custer might be in the 32.
That's interesting, because I don't. Go Fast has had different drivers over the years. They almost had Sean West Townley until he messed up in 2012, so they kicked him out and put Sorensen in that Pocono race. But they had Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, Corey LaJoie currently, Di Benedetto, Joey Gage,
Said.
Kyle. Hey, there's also Kyle Fowler that only ran Martinsville in the chase
Yes.
for two races. You had different drivers, including trying to remember if
Boris
drivers.
said.
Boris said would run road courses. Jeffrey Earnhardt drove for them also.
And Matt DiBenedetto last season.
Will Kimmel made a start.
Right. But in the end, they are a Ford team, and
Yeah.
I think there's nothing wrong with putting Cole Custer in that
No.
car next season.
But
Sure, it's slow. It may not be the fastest car out there,
yeah.
but he's getting seat time nonetheless, and that's what matters. Here's the problem, and I know this is another debate that's why the number of races a Cup Series driver can run in Xfinity and trucks are so limited. Unlike most Cup Series rookies from the previous decade, they had that ability to go down the lower series and race on Saturdays or Friday nights. Now they can't as much. The races they can run are more numbered and limited. So think about that.
Yeah.
Cole Custer, he might be ready for the Cup Series. Does he have to drive the 14 right away? No. But I feel like I'm afraid that's going to give Clint Bowyer the Matt Kenseth treatment.
It's I know Go Fast Racing used to be Fastlane Racing owned by Frank Stoddard. 2014, that's where Archie St. Hilaire, that's the owner name. He's from Canada. He bought the 32 team. That they have a Penny Series championship with Alex Labbe 2017. They were good in that series, but they also had Cody Vanderwall driving in K&N West Series part-time or full-time, but they were better in the Pennies than K&N West. But I don't know about how the merger would work because we've seen it right now with Levine Family Racing, that's Toyota, but with a Ford team, I remember Cole Custer drove a 51 Rick Ware car a couple of years ago, but they had Stuart Haas, some Stuart Haas component.
Cole Custer did qualify. I think he made Q3 last year at Richmond.
I remember that. I was so shocked.
Oh, Rick, we're racing the meme that keeps on giving.
Yeah,
we'll talk about them in a moment because they were in the midst of controversy after Bristol. But let's keep talking about the silly season, though.
We also have there's a lot of rumors of Tyler Reddick. They're trying to get a car like an RCR Alliance or getting the 31 full time again with Reddick because Tyler Reddick, that's the only way he's staying with RCR because they want to put someone else in the 2 car for next year in the Xfinity series. So I don't know about.
Listen, I think that 2 car is no problem for that 2 car to be to be a part-time driver, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, but it's because I would like to see Tyler Reddick doing things other than staying in Xfinity. I would like him one point to move up in the Cup Series. Because him and Christopher Bell had the same rookie season, 2018, the same year. Same as, who else? Cindric had a rookie year, but we know 2020, there's no options for Cindric yet because Menard is staying till 2020. 2021, Paul Menard's probably retiring after 2020. We know
retiring it. Bowyer
possibly. Reagan is retiring after this season of full-time racing.
The seat open.
The 38 for front row because Tiff has a contract and McDowell has a contract. So it's just the 38. That's unknown for.
Here's something. I want to get back to Pocono also.
Yeah, we have to talk about the points.
Yeah, so what if they still get rid of Bowyer, but they still go with the Go Fast Alliance? The Benedetto to the 14?
What about the 41 of Suarez?
I think my prediction is whichever SHR driver doesn't make the playoffs is out. If it's Suarez, he's out. If it's Bowyer, he's out.
What about Briscoe in that 98 car?
I think Briscoe needs another year before.
Yeah, Briscoe
but he could run that 38 car part time. I think here's another idea. Roush did this last season with the 6 car when Trevor Bayne ran limited number races before retiring, and he had Matt Kenseth going in the 6 car before he retired as well. in the 2018 season, which, listen, don't rule out part-time drivers. You can have a full-time car, but why not have a part-time driver? Which is the 38 car. Chase Briscoe in for a few
Yeah.
races. How about Austin Cindric for the road courses? Put in, let's
How
say,
about
David Reagan for Daytona and Talladega.
no. How about this?
Not pass him
Yeah, exactly, Justin. Exactly.
I said not Pastor Maldonado. No,
I thought you said
No.
the Fastenal car. I was about to
No.
say like
no, not Pastor
give
Maldonado.
Stenhouse-
I
at this-
said front row.
give
Well,
Stenhouse. Give Stenhouse. Hey, you leave the god alone. Give Stenhouse the Bane treatment.
Well, I guess the 20
What?
car.
Put Cindric part time in the 17 with Stenhouse.
Well, Cindric didn't do good. Remember what happened with Cindric at Roush? Car wrecked every race he was in at Roush.
To be fair, every driver at Roush wrecked. That's 60 cars.
Hey.
And they were not ready.
Briscoe is the only one that wrecked less. Majeski wrecked a lot. Cindric wrecked that car in every race he ran in that car. Like every time he was in the 60, he crashed. The 22 and the 12, he was good. But the 60 car,
And
like-
they were an unstable team. I think they had bad
Right.
car setups, to be honest.
well,
They
remember
didn't
when? Remember
seem
when?
prepared.
Remember when their goal at the beginning of the 28th season was to make a shot at the owners' championship,
Yeah.
and they finished like 22nd.
hey, do you want to know? Guess who drove the 2016 at Bristol? Greg Galding. They had the 60 part time. They put Greg Galding. I'm like,
Hey,
why would you? put
Greg Biffle ran and won the Texas race
in the
in
Okay.
a Kyle Busch truck.
Well, him trying to get a full time ride would be hard because
Not a full-time ride. A part-time.
like I'm just, but it's like he has to find. He can't go in the 4. I still think Eckes is getting the 4 because Christian Eckes, he's doing good right now.
Right.
He could do good. So I feel like Eckes doing like being in a good ride would help.
I just thought of this. Does Eckes have sponsorship?
He has I know he had JBL in his ARCA team.
What if? Okay, this is my last thing to say about silly season. We're gonna move on to IndyCar. Well, you can give your thoughts on this. Michael Self to the 4.
That's a pro. I don't know but it's a problem. He's not run truck races. Kyle Busch has to let him drive truck races. Hey, he's not.
He's got Dynaco as a sponsor.
Sinclair Oil.
It's Dynaco.
Green Dynaco.
Or the 54 goes full time with Self, not Decker. No Decker.
I think that's Todd Gilliland, to be honest, next year.
Todd Gilliland could get the 15 full time. Gilliland there. But they could get a 4 truck to the number 05 with part-time drivers like David Gilliland could run some restrictor
With
plates
Daytona, yeah.
and get Alfredo part-time and like a road course driver for Lassard could run maybe, I don't know, or some road course driver for Canadian Tire, something like that.
Ooh, silly season for the trucks is gonna get interesting.
It's very that's why they call it silly season, because it gets silly. All
All
right.
right, let's actually get
We
on.
gotta get back to the Pocono.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to get my thoughts on the whole Pocono controversy, and I'm going to be fairly blunt, as I usually am. If you want Pocono off the schedule, you want Indianapolis off the schedule.
Well, it's just I feel like up around Indy you go the same speed. Pocono you go fast and you go different speeds. Even Colin Herta said the problem is the fence at Pocono is really old. It's an old fence from 1990. They have to replace the fence.
Here's my problem
They
with the
should.
argument. If they were to say get rid of Pocono because Pocono doesn't do anything to update its facility for safety, then I can understand where they're coming from. Because it's like, okay, you're basically saying Pocono doesn't deserve a day because they don't put forth any effort. That I can understand. But this idea of, because the speeds are too high, it's too dangerous. It's bullshit. I'm sorry, it's bullshit. I mean, think about this. Most of the wrecks
Well,
turn 2 at Pocono. What's turn 2 modeled after? Indianapolis.
But there was
Exactly. And by the way, you have to know the tracks they also raced in, besides Pocono. The Michigan 500. Remember the
Ooh.
Michigan 500? Used to be a trademark event starting in 1968. Well, actually, it reduced to 400 miles, but it was it was the Michigan 500 up until 2002, and they have not raced since 2007.
I'm just thinking.
Fontana, another
Wow.
one, the California 500,
Well,
and
I'm
like,
just thinking about Pocono. It's not just turn 2 is dangerous. Turn 1. Karam wrecked in turn 1, 2015. Piggott went head on into the wall this year in the turn 1. Because turn 1, you go really fast in the 1. But just, I feel like also the fence at Pocono should be changed because we've had injuries with that fence. That fence is the oldest fence in racing. They have not changed it since the 90s. I would modify the fence. Like,
yes, I would.
Yeah, that's the problem because you saw how Wickens went into the fence last year. And
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm glad that Rosenquist did not go into the fence. He was
and then it wasn't
really
caught
close.
first either, which was my fear. What
Yeah.
happened with Wickens and
yeah.
also, let's talk about you mentioned the arguments about IndyCar racing and just the dangers of the sport. It's not NASCAR. People don't understand that IndyCar racing has people. I don't want to generalize the casual IndyCar audience because those are usually the people saying get rid of Pocono, get rid of ovals. They're not meant for IndyCar racing. Here's the thing: if someone in the perspective of a fan or a person who is in the IndyCar business for years, let's say through the USAC, kart era, IRL. Remember, IRL was all ovals at one point. But now, of course, the modern IndyCar series, you had ovals, part of the racing. And the most deaths of all tracks, the most fatalities are in the Indianapolis 500 with 36. From 1926 to 2003, 36 fatalities have occurred at Indianapolis. Yet, and I'm not trying to glorify, any tracks because like they had death, which is not my place as a broadcaster. However, this is open wheel racing, and you have to remind yourself what the dangers are and the risk that these drivers take. They do what they love to do because they want that glory. That's what they choose in their career. Tony Renna killed in a tire test for Chip Ganassi Racing in 2003. He was only 27, and unfortunately, we'll never get to see him race. Greg Moore's career was cut short, and his life was taken in the Marlboro 500 20 years ago. Probably one of the best Canadian drivers of all time. Let's say Scott Brayton, Indy 500 pole sitter, was killed in final practice. Sweet Savage, just Gordon Smiley. I don't want to I'm not trying to say that this is a good thing or a bad thing. It's terrible. No one wants to see a driver, get hurt or even worse, lose their life, put their lives at risk. But at the same time, Pocono and Indy have similarities. And if you want Pocono off the schedule, then Indy should apply.
Well, this is what IndyCar should have. F1, they had a halo.
Yes.
IndyCar should get this too on their cars to not get debris hitting their heads.
Is that a paper or taco?
That's a paper. That's a piece of paper.
Taco's a taco for a second.
No, I mean,
IndyCar, put tacos on the cockpit.
No, I wouldn't.
Michael Waltrip made a bad mistake doing that.
No, you saw what happened with Wilson getting hit by debris. IndyCar has the halo, and it protected Leclerc. Why can't IndyCar adapt this?
I agree.
It looks like they're going to have that next year with the halo screen.
I hope it protects them. I don't want someone to have broken nose or something hit their
Listen, as
head.
long as their heads are protected, that's all that matters. In my opinion,
Yeah.
we need to keep the drivers safe.
Oh.
And by the way, I'm still reluctant to call Justin Wilson's death a crash because it wasn't. It was
Well,
an
it was-
incident where a piece of debris just hit him on the head, and it was
Yeah.
just unfortunate, terrible,
Well,
tragic. It was a
but-
tragic incident.
Well, I would have, if I was IndyCar,
And you know what? That incident could have happened any other track, even on a street course.
but what
Just saying.
about but like I felt Gateway's not like Gateway, at least at Gateway you don't go that fast because it's a shorter track, so you don't go the speeds at Pocono and Indy, so that's good. Gateway, you don't go that fast. I'm not worried about Gateway being an issue, but it's like I don't know, it's just I don't want to see people flipping like we saw Sato. Texas, that's fast too. We saw Nogard's crash 2016.
Or how about Kenny Brack in 2003?
Oh, yeah, those.
Are torpedoed. Many thought he was dead after Kenny Brack, and that was at Texas as well. But let's just we have to face the facts. And Jeff Krosnoff in 1996 was probably one of the ugliest tragedies we've seen in racing, and that was like 2 months after Scott Brayton. So, and that Jeff Krosnoff's crash was in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it shows, these terrible incidents can happen outside of an oval track.
Oh,
Taking away tracks like Pocono from the schedule will not solve the
well,
problem. This is open wheel racing, and there's open
Wow.
cockpits. You can't change that. I mean,
well,
do we need a close cockpit car? Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. But they're open wheels, and no matter what happens, when open wheel cars touch at speeds of over 220, 230 miles an hour, bad things happen.
looks like even Colin Herta said they should reduce the speeds at Pocono because he went really hard into the inside wall. Wickens went the fence really fast. Like the speeds at Pocono because it's 3 different corners. Indy's the same corners, so basically Indy it's less bad because same corners. Pocono 3 different corners, but they like literally like it's just the head on like. Piggott went into turn 1 head on into the wall. Literally off 2, freaking Colin Herta hit the inside wall almost head on.
Pocono needs to update it. They need to fix the fence. They need to raise
Yeah,
the walls. But getting
Yeah.
rid of it off the schedule entirely, I don't think is the
for
answer.
me, it's not that. For me, it's just updating some things. Like the fence is old. I can tell. I see rust on the fence. That means it's old. So they have to update the fence and all that to like.
The fact they didn't update it after the Robin Wickens crash,
Yeah, that is not too
But-
smart.
that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Look, like I said before, if Pocono still won't do anything to update its facility, then get rid of them because that just show that they don't
Yeah.
care about driver safety.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you don't care because if Pocono said we want to keep IndyCar, we want to be on the IndyCar schedule. Okay, you want to be on the schedule. What IndyCar should do, they should tell them, okay, Pocono, you want to be on our schedule next year? Fix your goddamn facility. Update
Yeah.
it. So anytime our drivers get into a crash, we don't have to risk that they get crippled, let alone die.
Yeah, like Wickens, he's not racing anymore. He wants to get back in a car, but his legs, like he can't even walk right. Like he's trying to get
Right. But
He's trying to get-
this is racing and the dangers of racing, regardless of the safety measures, which the safety measures, of course, have improved through the years. So seeing these bad crashes and these bad incidents have become rarer and rarer nowadays. However, in the end, this is still a risk these drivers take because they want to race. This is their passion.
Yeah, but it's just I feel like the fence should have been updated.
Yeah, the fence should definitely be updated. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. But just to go out there and say Pocono is not ideal for IndyCar, which is absolutely not true because they've been racing IndyCars at Pocono for pretty much years. And let me show you when they first raced at Pocono, 1971.
Yeah. But they didn't go that fast. It's the problem. They go way too fast. Like
True.
Indy 4 corners, the same thing. Pocono 3 different corners. You saw. Remember Charlie Kimball when he went almost into the fence there?
Yes.
That was really bad. Like that was in qualifying also. It was qualifying. So and we've seen crashes on pit road. We've seen crashes in all the corners. We've seen crashes at Pocono 1, 2, and 3. Like it's really like the track is like.
Here's one. I have a comparison to make, and I don't even know how good of a comparison it'll be. I'm probably going to trigger some people. In 2001, if you want to go off the logic of the speeds are too high at Pocono and someone will die, did NASCAR fans start clamoring for Daytona to get off the schedule after Dale Earnhardt died going head on the wall in 2001?
They just said NASCAR said that we're going to put safer barriers, and they did. And Pocono did not put
Why
any.
don't they do the same with Pocono? That's my question.
Well, I think it's because of Wickens' crash, especially because they don't want someone to go back in the fence. Like
I think his crash was a wake-up call.
Like Rosenquist almost went in the fence too. He was really close from getting in the fence. I'm just checking photos to see if there's safer barriers.
He did hit. There are safer barriers around the.
But is it the whole track? Is the problem? Because
Yeah, there are.
I hope because
My problem with the Pacific is that they're too low. They need to be higher.
Yeah.
They need to update the fences and they need to make the safer barriers higher. That way, when these drivers do go on the wall, they don't hit the fence.
Yeah, because we've seen cars get into the fence. Wickens, Rosenquist also. We've seen Charlie Kimball in qualifying get into the fence too. Like we've seen cars getting into the fence. Like NASCAR cars are different, so they don't go in the fence like that.
They do. There's a slim chance that NASCAR hit the catch fence, but
in
when an
IndyCar,
open wheel car, especially when an open cockpit hits the catch fence, added risk.
Yeah, like the cars are really lighter when they get into the air. Like you saw how Takuma Sato's car flipped over. It was not like a NASCAR car that takes a lot to make it roll over. An Indy car, when it goes in the air, it flies in the air until it lands back on all four. Like James Hinchcliffe's in practice, he flipped over and he landed pretty badly when he flipped over in 2015.
Here's another thing I have to say. Some people want to use the argument for Indianapolis, like when people say, oh, you want Indy off the schedule. Some people use the argument of, oh, well, in Indianapolis, you don't see like these big wrecks as opposed to Pocono. First of all, 2017 Indianapolis.
Oh, yep.
2017 Indianapolis, the practice, Danica, Ed Jones, etc. In last year's 500, all the practice crashes in this year's 500. So there's that. And second of all, it's because drivers don't want to get too aggressive at the start of the Indianapolis 500 because they're trying to win the biggest spectacle.
And you start 3 abreast.
You start 3 wide.
Yep.
So you have an extra reason to slow down and be careful.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to conserve your stuff because you want to make a shot for it at the end. We see that with Indianapolis racing, where the drivers in the first maybe 60% of the race, they'll spread out, they'll play it safe because they want a shot at the end, because they want a shot at winning the biggest race in the world. So they want to make sure that they make it to the end. For Pocono, I know Pocono is it's become a must-watch race for IndyCar, but there really isn't that much prestige to it. So it's okay, we're gonna go all out now.
Right.
There's not prestige to it.
I've noticed Texas. They don't go that aggressive at Texas on the start. Texas
is a one-groove track, especially with the repave.
Yeah, but it's so weird. I remember there was not much the green. There was a lot of green at the beginning of the race until towards the middle part and the end of the race. That's where the cautions started happening. James Hinchcliffe brought out caution late. Colin Herta and we had cautions more towards the end at Texas. But the start was good. Pocono, the start's always.
You're too aggressive, I'd say.
Remember when we went 7 wide on the front straightaway 2015 and then on a restart, and then Kev Nevis crashed in turn 1. I
Yes.
don't like going 7 wide. You know it's not going to be good.
Of course.
Like,
So what you're saying is we go 10 wide.
no, that's still not going to work. That's not going to really be well.
10
No.
wide into turn 1.
No, I know NASCAR cars it wouldn't work because their cars are way too wide. Because 10, like, it's like problem is it's like I remember when Fontana was on the schedule. Remember 2015, the final race at Fontana. Holy, they were going.
First
They
of all, the attendance was bad, and not to mention they moved the race from the championship to the championship race, or the last race of the year until the one that they have now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, over 2015,
Yeah.
and
then they put Sonoma as the final race, and now it's oh my gosh, they now have WeatherTech Raceway.
yeah, Laguna
Laguna
Seca that they replaced Sonoma on the calendar.
Plus, you
Yeah.
get rid of Pocono. Number 1, you get rid of another oval off the IndyCar schedule.
We've
And
lost enough.
And IndyCar, exactly. We've lost enough. And one of the main appeals about IndyCar racing is that they go on ovals. It's really the only open wheel series in the world that races on ovals. And on top of that, you lose your North American audience. Think about it. If we get rid of Pocono, what tracks do they go to that's in the Northeast?
Well,
Nazareth is gone.
Nazareth gone. Watkins Glen
Wait.
gone.
why couldn't they kept New Hampshire? What was wrong with New Hampshire is the problem.
I don't know if New Hampshire's really that ideal. Like the IRL went to New Hampshire, and to be honest, I don't.
Bristol.
Like, it wasn't that.
IndyCar at Bristol.
No,
That's
IndyCar
not-
at Martinsville.
Oh,
I got it.
oh no.
IndyCar at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Oh no. Oh god. No. IndyCar at wait, I'm trying to think of
Eldora!
oh my no
Well, they technically had a race at Langhorne, so yeah.
IndyCar at I'm trying to think.
That's the new title for this podcast.
IndyCar at Darlington.
I
I don't know about how that would go because it's the egg-shaped. It's an
But
egg-shaped track.
Dover, they used to have a race at Dover.
I said Darlington. IndyCar at Darlington. I don't know how that would go.
No.
I'm leaning more.
I know
towards-
Talladega. That's no. Talladega's too really
See,
big.
IndyCar race Daytona once in 1959. George Amick
Ooh.
lost his life, so yeah.
I said Talladega, but that's worse than Daytona. So no
Okay,
Talladega.
but let's be realistic. They need to go back to tracks like Sao Paulo. The 2013 Sao Paulo Grand Prix was one of the best IndyCar races on the schedule, like of all time. You couldn't take your eyes off the action for a second.
Danny, you need to get on here. Joe's has been
Wait.
losing a couple nuts.
Wait. I know. Why can't IndyCar have a combo race with F1 at
Yes,
Silverstone?
they used to.
They should do it again.
At Silverstone?
What would be what? Did you ever try IndyCars at Silverstone? I wonder how that would go. Is it that? I know F1. I've driven F1. I've driven F1 games at Silverstone, but an IndyCar at Silverstone, I don't know how that would go.
Or Surfer's Paradise?
Or
Let's talk about Surfers Paradise. They used to race at Surfers Paradise. How about Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in
Wait.
Mexico City?
oh, I'm trying to think.
Remember Edmonton Airport?
Oh yeah, that track. Wait,
Yeah, Edmonton Indy.
they should do something else. They should get the NASCAR Penny Series track, Riverside National Speedway, and race IndyCars on that.
On
That-
that little track in Nova Scotia?
Yeah, I would totally go to that.
Okay, seriously though. Let's
No,
be
I
real.
don't
Let's be
know.
realistic. What about Brands Hatch? What about Brands Hatch? How about Twin Rig Motegi? I know Motegi,
Yeah,
they last raced in 2011.
I like.
All right, let's be realistic. The Las Vegas dirt track.
Oh come on!
Okay, but seriously, guys,
I don't
seriously.
know.
How about
It's
remember the streets of Las Vegas? Will Power's
Yes.
first win in 2007, his first career win.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What other tracks? I know they went to ISM, and I don't know why they cut that out of the. My
I
question.
mean, I don't know if the racing would be interesting with the new pavement. To be honest,
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I mean,
I-
not the new pavement, the new layout.
Yeah.
ISM ruined the track, in my opinion. Like
Well-
with that repave, like a couple years ago.
Well, I'm trying to think of other.
Oh shit, Danny's here.
I was gonna
Hello.
say. Wait, I don't
I just had to get on there, just have my take on this. I was talking about Surfers Paradise. Maybe that would be good to go back there, since they're losing their audience, and it's
Wait.
like, okay, were you saying something just then?
I got a track. They
What?
should race. They should race at Thompson, Connecticut.
Thompson, Connecticut.
A short track.
Justin,
No,
Short
no. It's a short track. It's like
Right.
Iowa. It's kind of like Iowa. It's the same length as Iowa. But what's
Right.
wrong with that? They could have a combo. They could have the race at the same weekend as one of the modified, because modified races there too many times in a year. But
Oh, wow.
then they could get more
what
people
about
and
Ontario
more
Speedway
cash.
in California, which is gone, of course.
Danny, please tell that they should go to Bowman Gray Stadium.
Bowman Grade is a bad idea, man. It's way too short, man.
Well, I said about the podcast 2 weeks ago, I said if somebody fights at Bowman Gray Stadium in IndyCar, me and Matt Bandauto are going to go get them.
Oh,
Yeah. So I don't know what other tracks would be good for IndyCar, because I'm trying to find tracks, but some of the tracks are not good ideas.
What about bring Walt Disney World back? Well, I mean, the track is closed
track-
down.
It's a
Gone.
parking lot. It's basically a
Yeah.
parking lot.
What?
Walt Disney World Speedway that used to be there, but now it's
Yeah.
parking
Now
lot.
it's like, is it really a parking lot now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's parking lot.
I think Walt Disney World Speedway is an underrated
God.
track.
Dang, man, things really did change.
Yep. All right. So
Let's talk about points. We got to talk about the point standings for once and for all for the IndyCar series after round 14. Joseph Newgarden has a 535 point claim. No. He has a 35 point lead.
Okay, that makes
He has a
more
35 point lead
sense.
over Alexander Rossi, 40 points ahead of Simon Pagenaud. So Pagenaud's third minus 40. Dixon is fourth minus
Fourth.
52. Will Power fifth minus 128. I'm just looking down. Ryan Hunter Ray sixth. Graham Ray Hall seventh. Takuma Sato eighth. Rosenquist ninth. Bourdais 10th. Hinchcliffe 11th. Ferrucci 12th. Racing at Gateway this weekend.
Yep.
Mhm.
You guys want to talk Gateway now? Well, we're
Gateway.
give our
Like-
thoughts and our picks for
Like-
this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, well, let's
I
talk
know.
about the upcoming weekend, and then we'll get into the miscellaneous.
Wait, did I choose my pick for Gateway, Armani?
No, you didn't give our.
Well,
No,
let's talk about Gateways now. Now that we're just in the subject.
So, round 5 of the World Racing Media Championship. Danny, I explained to them at the beginning of the show, me and you were tied because I made 2 dumb decisions. I'll change my picks. All right, so we'll start off, since we're talking about IndyCar, we'll start off with Gateway. Who do you guys got winning the Gateway?
Ooh,
I've got Newgarden winning the Gateway again. Wait, he won there last year, did he?
2017.
2 years ago.
2017.
2017. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I got my pick.
All right.
I'm really confident. I think Newgarden's going to win. He won there 2 years ago, and I feel like he's going to build up the momentum for the final 2 races and win the championship and make sure that Rossi or Hunter Ray doesn't push him off the track at any of the road courses. So Joseph Newgarden's going to win.
I am going with. Okay, so here's a take for Roger Penske. If you're Penske here, you have Paul Tracy,
So Paul
Joe
Tracy's
Farron, Elio
Paul-
Castroneves, Joseph Newgarden, Will Power, Simon Pagenaud gives Roger Penske a 6 Gateway victory.
All right, so we got 2 picks for Newgarden and we got 1 pick for Pagenaud. So we're going with the Penske bunch. My pick, I'm gonna play it a little bit safe here. He didn't win the race last year, but he nearly won it on fuel mileage. The broadcast even said last year where he was saving fuel harder than he did at Indianapolis in 2016. Alexander Rossi gets back to way of things and wins his first race at Gateway.
You're going with Rossi.
Yep. Now let's move on to the Truck Series race at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Who do you guys got taking the checkered at the end of 65 laps?
It's 64 laps.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm just gonna. I have to check the entry list. I know the entry list, but it's only 28
I'm on the
trucks.
bandwagon. Alex Tagliani.
Ooh.
Really?
Tagliani? Really?
I'm looking.
Wait, Chase Briscoe.
Chase Briscoe is
It's
not.
in the race.
In the race.
Okay. We're good. Okay.
I was about to say is not the father.
What?
Joe, he did. We need to say it. Joseph. You need, seriously, we've been telling you this entire time to stay off the
Damn.
No.
Stop.
You guys love Stephen A.
Well, you're the one who brought it up
I
in
bring
the
it up.
first place, Joseph. Yeah.
Wait, I'm looking at the entry list. I'm looking. Okay.
All right.
I have to look at it. I'm trying to think. No. I'm not going with a Jennifer Joe Cobb truck. They're not winning the race. They're not
That would
winning.
be a very, very bad.
Hey,
Justin,
do you want to know what's awesome? Natalie
What?
Decker's not in the race. Lassard's in the
thank
54.
God.
Lassard is in that 54 truck. He
Thank
is
God.
better.
Put Boris
I'm
Said in
looking. Boris said is retired.
No.
He decided to be.
Hey guys, just for the viewers, right? There was this comment that I'm trying to find it. I'm gonna try and find it because I had posted it yesterday. I'm not too sure. Oh, there it is. There's a comment on Instagram yesterday from Kid Racer, and it says, "What's been up with you and your spotter and crew chief? Like, why is it that the crew chief is mad at everything you do and your spotter is careless?" And Natalie Decker responds, "My crew chief is not mad. He's just passionate. And my spotter isn't careless. He's aggressive." Really?
Wait. Well, her spotter is Kevin Hamlin. My
Yeah.
question: why is Kevin Hamlin working for a Toyota team in the trucks? He should work for GMS Racing, and then work for an Xfinity team as a Chevy, and then it would be smarter. I would Dale Jr. or no, GMS Maurice Gallagher Jr. should have hired Kevin Hamlin as a Chevy team, and then he could work for a Chevy team in the Xfinity, and then he works for Hendrick in the Cup. He should have worked at a Chevy team, but why did David Gillen say, "Hey, you can be the spotter for Natalie Decker"? Because I don't know, maybe Bola Mastis is the listed owner. Maybe he said, "Hey, we're gonna pay you Natalie's money because she has a sponsor, and you could be the spotter." Something like
Nowadays,
that.
When it comes to Natalie Decker in the Truck Series, her spotter said it the best. I'm completely at a loss of words right now.
I literally replied to his tweet to Kevin Hamlin. I'm like, "Kevin Hamlin, go to GMS in the trucks. You'll have better spotting there."
Well, probably
Because
a better driver.
you have Sheldon Creed and Brett Moffitt in the Truck Series. They're actually good. They're not bad. Like, I'm just looking at a pick. I'm trying to find a pick. Okay.
All right, Danny,
No,
give us your pick.
Yo.
Justin looks.
What?
Your pick for most sport.
I'm gonna go with. I'm not gonna say Chastain again, but I'm gonna go with Inkfinger
All right.
as my pick. I don't know if there are any road course good drivers that are good at road courses, like that I could really pick, but I'm gonna go with Inkfinger.
All right. And Justin, you're next.
Ooh, I think this one's gonna work. You know the 18 truck last year almost won that race, really close, but Noah Gragson was stupid. This year, Harrison Burns gonna win, but by not dumping someone, he's gonna pass this guy without getting into him, and he'll get his first career win and make Kyle Busch say, "You can stay at the team."
Hey, fun fact. Every race except 2015 in the Chevy Silverado 250 history has
Yep.
a last lap pass.
Yep. Because 2015, Eric Jones just pulled away.
Yeah,
2014 was the cleanest one. You saw Ryan Blaney move on Herman Kroger. That was the cleanest move on the last lap pass. The other ones, not the cleanest move.
not so
I
much.
don't know, man. Noah Gragson move was pretty clean, if you ask me.
But then he wrecked himself and gave Justin Haley the win.
All right, let's talk about the race.
All right, hold on. Let me get my. I haven't even given
Go
my
ahead.
pick. So he's having a sophomore slump. There's no doubt about it. Joseph already knows who's my pick is.
Me too. I
Yeah,
already know.
you already know who my pick is. However, like Justin said, he's in a KBM truck. I think Todd Gilliland will finally break through and get his first win of his Truck Series career at Mosport.
So basically, he has to make sure he doesn't get wrecked by the 18 truck like
Yeah.
last year. And oh wait, you know Brett Moffitt's in the
How's it going?
Go
Hey,
with it.
Don't be funny. You know the 18 got into the 4?
Yeah.
What happens if it's Byrne getting in the Gill and Dabo freaking Moffitt gets the win because he's in the 24 now?
That'd
If
be
it's like last year, I'm gonna be like, what?
That'd be the
How's that
funniest.
happen?
That'd be the funniest thing.
Yeah, if it's the same thing and with the same truck number winning, that'll be Moffitt's down the 24.
All right, now let's move on to the Xfinity Series race at Road America. Who do you guys got taking the checkered flag?
Ooh, I have to go check that entry list. I know there's a lot of entries for that race. Holy crap.
Justin got to do his research.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's talk about the Xfinity Series at Road America. So I just want to talk about like the history of the event, because as it shows, for Xfinity, I'm just trying to pull it. At NASCAR Xfinity Road America, there is no multiple winner at this track. However, RCR won 3 consecutive races for 2014 and 2016. And same with Turner Scott Motorsports, but the team doesn't exist anymore, 2011, 2012. So you got look at the names of drivers I have right here. Carl Edwards, Reed Sorensen, Nelson Piquet Jr.,
Yes.
AJ Allmendinger, Brendan Gaughan, and it gets crazier. Paul Menard, Michael McDowell, Jeremy Clements, Justin Allgaier.
If Reed Sorensen wasn't crazy enough, Paul Menard.
Would you look at that?
Well, Jeremy Clements won in a
Yeah.
shitty
Who saw
car.
that coming? Not me.
Yeah, I remember when he catch Matic. I'm like, what? I'm like, he's in his own team catching a Gibbs car. I'm like, I know he had fresher tires, but I didn't expect him to catch Matt
Baseball
Tit.
56 says I'm on the Benedetto bandwagon. And you know what? He's in the race this weekend for Road America, and everyone's talking about that one driver, that 18 car.
All right,
Especially-
all right, who do the rest of you got for Road America?
Cool. I know it.
This is Mike Harmon's chance.
Hell
Mike
yeah!
Mike Harmon.
This is
Mike
Mike
Harmon.
Harmon.
Mike Harmon's
Diesel
not in the
logo.
race. Mike Harmon's not in the race. It's Nicholas Harmon.
Come in.
Aw.
Wait, I'll tell you. My pick. You know RCR has won here a couple times? I'm going with Kaz Grala. He's in the 21.
Armani, I think this is the best time to say it again.
Right.
Can you do it again?
Yeah, let's
Do it
do
again.
it.
Stay
Off the weed.
Wait, my pick. I picked Kaz Grala. He's driving the 21. He is good at road courses. He's been close at Canadian Tire 2017. This time, I think he could actually win his first Xfinity race. But he'll actually make the race. He's not Joe Graff Jr., so I feel like he's going to win the race.
Junior, that's funny.
Yeah, because Kaz Grala could actually qualify the car. Joe Graf Jr. DNQs in
His
our
second DNQ of the season, by the way, was in Bristol. He DNQ'd
Correct.
Michigan in
All right, I was gonna ask
I
Joseph
mean,
who
our star car, and then the second for colleague
I was
race.
gonna ask Joseph who his pick is, but because of this message that he just said, you don't get to make a pick now. This
All right, I'm gonna take a pick, guys.
no, not after this look at this graph. No. All right, go make
Look
your
at this graph.
Okay, my pick for the Xfinity race at Road America.
Looking at the
Custer.
ceiling. Oh, I thought you were looking at your ceiling to see Cole Custer's name.
No,
You're looking at the
Cole
ceiling.
Custer will be seen in Victory Lane.
He's like, I got my pick.
But you know what? I think y'all missing the biggest threat when it comes to road courses. Austin Cindric.
Can he go 3 for 3?
Well, Cindric blew transmission last year and 2017 blew a tire late.
Third or 4 road
Oh
course
wow, Justin! Thank you for bringing it up.
So you're picking.
You know who
Austin
raced at Road America last year? Bill Elliott.
Oh yeah, but he's not in the race.
No, I wish he was.
John Hunter and Nemechek's in the 20.
John Myers in the 23.
So Danny, you got Bill Elliott. All right, Danny, I need you to say. Now I need you to say it to me.
Bill Elliott. He's not in the race.
Buddy, stay off the weed.
So you're picking Austin Cindric.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now my pick is, in my opinion, the most underrated road course ringer in the Xfinity Series. Back-to-back runner, Jennifer Joe Cobb, exactly.
No, Brandon Jones.
Brandon Joe.
Brandon Jones.
He's the most underrated
Dude,
driver.
Armani, hold on. Where are you when Brandon Jones wins the stage, man? I don't know what's the reaction, man.
I was working when that happened, first of all.
Oh.
But I give him credit when he actually does something. It's like, okay, do it consistently now.
Hey, he might win the stage 2, and that means if he wins stage 2 next race, he's gonna win Darlington.
That's a load of baloney.
Hey! If Denny Hamlin flips over, if Dale Jr. clobbers the wall, if Brad Keselowski drives in, no, Ryan Blaney just doesn't try, that's how he'll win. And all the other people are in a crash like at Bristol. That's the only way Brandon Jones is going to win.
Danny, we need to say it, I think, a little bit louder.
Okay.
All right. For real, though, the most underrated driver, road course ringer in the Xfinity Series, Pastor Maldonado.
Pastor Maldonado.
The god
Oh, no.
But in all seriousness, Christopher Bell's getting the
Okay, because Pastor Maldonado is not racing this weekend.
win. He's up in the racing heavens, being a god.
There's also there's a new race team that Dan Pardis, former driver, his son Preston Pardis is driving a 43 Chevrolet, but it's not the same Richard Petty font because Richard Petty wouldn't allow their number font on that car. Yeah.
Tears. All right, we got 3 more races to cover for our picks. We got both supercar races, and we got the IMSA race at Virginia.
All right, yeah, and then we'll go into regional racing after that.
Yeah.
We'll start with the supercars. Their first race since was that Ipswich. Ipswich was their last race, and
Good.
Wingcup and McLaughlin won those events. Now we head to the Bend for the second year in existence. After the track was opened in 2018, they ran in Tailane Bend, which is in South Australia. Last year, it was Shane Van Gisbergen and Jamie Whincup in a Red Bull Holden Racing Team Wonderland.
And just so you know, that the one person out of the Red Bull Racing camp I can stand is Shane Van Gisbergen. The other man, Whincup, Well,
you know it. You know what Well, about supercars, you know what's the nickname of the supercar series, basically.
It's Scott McLaughlin.
McLaughlin series.
So that why can't it's like most everybody picks Lewis Hamilton for F1. Everybody should start picking Scott McLaughlin for supercars, and then we're good.
Because he's just that dominant, man.
But why is Coulthard not? Why is Coulthard not that dominant? He's doing.
Baby
This is
Coulthard,
Coulthard.
really?
Coulthard does this.
Team
Water.
No, this is Coulthard driving like a grandpa.
He's second in points. He ain't driving like
Exactly.
a grandpa.
Well, he's
We
why?
got nothing to worry about then.
To be honest,
win?
To be honest, it's Scott McLaughlin and then everyone else is just fighting. For
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
All right, let's actually get to our picks.
Right.
Well, this is easy. Scott McLaughlin.
Both races.
Yep.
Wait. Which track are we
There's two
going at
races.
again?
At the bend.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but my pick is going to be
Oh, goodness.
Jamie Whincup for race 1.
Oh my
two,
God, Joseph.
Race 2 is going to be David Reynolds. And I mean it this time,
Absolutely not.
unlike Ipswich.
Hey,
Because David Reynolds is going to kill.
David Reynolds, really?
Yeah.
You're trying to get Danny to murder you, aren't you?
Hey,
no,
I'm sorry,
not
but
tonight.
it's the
Not
whole-
tonight.
It's Holden time.
Wait.
Golden time. Yeah,
Wait.
right.
Wait,
You know
wait,
what?
I'm checking. Check
Go ahead,
something.
Justin.
This
Let's
is
hear
the
it.
best episode
Wait.
ever.
How about the person that finished last place in the last race? He's getting first.
Wait, who?
I don't remember who it was. Let me go do my research.
Scott Pye? Nah.
Yes, he's gonna win. He's
No.
gonna
Oh, wow.
he's gonna dominate.
So you think there'll be a first time winner for Scott Pye?
You never know. That's just a,
Please. It's gonna be Pastor Maldonado.
Oh my goodness! And speaking of supercars, I think I said this last week, but Andretti Autosport, Andretti Walkinshaw team, they're gonna have drivers James Hinchcliffe and Alexander Rossi run a car, the Bathurst 1000, in 2 months.
Oh yeah, my picks is Scott McLaughlin for
Thanks for
both.
coming, Beast Mode.
Yeah, I got Scott McLaughlin to win this, man.
yeah, McLaughlin.
Whincup Reynolds. Whincup
Bruh.
Reynolds.
He's allowed to pick who. At least he's
It's like
not.
counting
Hey,
sheep. Whincup
Hey,
Reynolds.
well, at least it's not bad compared to like if BJ McLeod was in that series. You're not gonna pick him because
How do you come up with BJ McLeod?
I don't know. First driver I was thinking about.
You
in
know
my
what?
head.
You know what? I'm changing my picks. Pastor Maldonado for race 1, and Chad Fitcher for
Oh,
race.
my God.
Mitchell.
Only you.
He missed the race at Bristol. Are you
Yeah.
sure about that?
Fine, Timmy Hill.
Timmy Hill. Well, you know, at least you didn't pick Dick Carth that drives for
You know what?
NBM Motorsports.
You know what? He's my pick now.
Well, Dick Cart
Who?
Dick Cart is driving at Road America for Carl Long's race team at the age of 66. Yeah, 66. Yeah. So he's not going to be in his prime compared to other drivers.
Well, at least he's there to say, you know what? I'm gonna race, even though I'm 66. I'm still gonna kick some.
Well, yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the IMSA race.
Yep.
Who's racing there? What class is racing in there?
IMSA is just a GT class. It's a Michelin GT Challenge at VIR,
Yeah.
which is round 10 of 12 in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship for 2019. The first race at VIR was a SCCA sanctioned event in 1957. Carroll Shelby and John Engar won in a Maserati 450S. Last year, almost 63 years later, BMW won the race in the M8, which was driven by Connor DeFilippi and Alexander Sims. In 2016 and 2017, Corvette went back-to-back in the GTLM class. I'm going with the number 3 Corvette. They are winning for the 3rd time in the last 3 years.
Okay.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Oh, wait. I have to do my research again.
Oh
I always have to do my research because
You know what?
I
Wait.
don't.
I might go with Team Porsche this time. Team
They are
Porsche.
leading the championship.
What's that?
Porsche. Which
I
Porsche?
think GTD.
No, GTLM.
Oh, GTLM. Okay.
All right.
I knew I was going. I know I was going towards something, but
Which Porsche are you going with?
damn, I can't remember the number.
911 and 912.
They're 1 and 2 in points.
911.
All right. Well, I was going to pick a Porsche too, and just to make sure it's not the same Porsche as you, so I could get ahead in points, I'm picking the Porsche 912.
Oh, that's how it really is now, eh?
Hey, listen, we're tied. I need to make ground up.
Let's talk
Ooh.
about GTD cars for a
Wait,
bit.
wait. I didn't pick mine yet.
Go ahead, Justin.
I think because the last time we had a race like that was the 67 Ford. I think the 66 Ford is going to get it because the 67 did last time at Lime Rock. I think the 66 Ford's going to win in GTLM.
All right.
All right, so there's that, and I think that wraps up our.
We have to
picks.
GT
Talk
Daytona.
about GTD real quick because the GTD points so far, it's Meyershank Acura. They are leading. They have 209 points. The number 96 Turner BMW is second. They have 185 points. So 209 minus 185. I don't know math. Third is the fast.
Danny,
Look at the chat.
background music.
All right.
Danny,
Third,
What?
the background music.
all
Oh,
right. Third is the FAF Motorsports Porsche. They have 178 points. Fourth is and fifth are the two Lexuses. 175 points for the 14 and then 173 points for the 12. I think the 86 Acura will win in GTD.
Ooh. Mine. Hey, you said about the number. Oh my goodness, how do I forget? You know the number 9? They won the last 2 races. I think the number 9 Porsche is going to go 3 in a row and they're going to win.
Oh,
in
Chase
GT.
GTD.
Chase Elliott
Yeah.
3 in a row.
No, not Chase Elliott. No, the Fast Motorsports
All
number
right,
9.
fine. Noah Gregson.
You said GTD,
Not correct.
right, Justin?
Yeah, GTD. I picked the 9 Porsche.
I'm gonna go with Ryan Hardwick in that first form Lamborghini.
All right.
All right, that's good. Okay,
Oh,
so
wait. So my pick is the GTD for GTD is the number 86 Acura as well. And if not Chase Elliott, not Noah Gregson, then Cody Rohrbach.
Cody Rohrbach. Yeah, he drives a 9 truck.
good luck
Yeah.
if he even makes the race.
Well, hey, he could have if there was less cars.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be hard missing the truck race. There's only 28 trucks for some random reason.
Okay, so there's that. Let's talk about some of the regional series. I got a lot of stuff here written down about the miscellaneous events. Let's get started off with
Danny, sound like you're in a Tom and Jerry show.
okay. So let's start with the ARCA series.
Arca's off. Oh, yeah.
We're talking about
Okay.
from the past weekend for the
Okay.
miscellaneous. We'll start off with ARCA. We have K&N Racing that took place from Evergreen, Bristol. We had motocross from Bud Creek, and we had the Penny Series. They were at Riverside. Wheeler Modified from Thompson. Let's get started with the ARCA race.
Danny. Tom and Jerry 3.6.
Okay, let's get started.
Great taste. Only 96 calories, 0 grams of sugar.
I get him.
It's done.
I'm sorry, I had to mute him.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, now we're good.
Danny, when you're back, just like go in the chat and say that like you're good to go. Put the noise.
Because yeah, so that was Tom and Jerry version 3.62. Yeah, of all numbers, I thought about 62.
Okay, so let's talk about the ARCA series. This was round 16 of 20 at the Springfield, Illinois Fairgrounds.
Yep.
Here's the top 5 results. Michael Self scores his 4th win of the season. Christian Eckes comes home in second. Came home second. Brett Holmes 3rd. Logan Seavey 4th. Will Kimmel 5th. And here are the point standings after the event. Michael Self has a championship lead. Minus 80 in second is Christian Eckes. Minus 3rd, Brett Holmes. Minus 105 in third is Holmes. Minus 150 in fourth is Travis Braden. And minus 209 or minus 290 actually in the 5th place is Joe Graff Jr. in the points. They race at another dirt track at the DuQuoin Fairgrounds next
Saturday.
Actually in 2 weeks' time.
August 31st.
Yes. And then so there's the ARCA series. Anything you want to say about that?
About ARCA, that was an interesting race, I heard. And that was awesome that the 69 car got 5th. That's quite awesome. But
Nice.
Will Kimmel, but if it was someone like Ty Gibbs wrecked out with Joe Graff Jr. They crashed. But I was shocked that Eric Cottle crashed on lap 1. Eric Cottle crashed on the first lap in that 7 car. And Wade Peterson did not even go out on
part.
It said, according to Racing Reference, said brakes. His brakes on lap 0. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the K&N series. We'll start off with the East series, and we'll start off with the East series and then we'll go to the West. The East series was round 9 of 12 at Bristol, and for the second time at Bristol this year, Sam Mayer goes to victory lane. He led 13 laps, and here's the top 5. We had Ty Gibbs second, Ruben Garcia Jr. third, Mason Diaz 4th, and Spencer Davis 5th. Spencer Davis led 137 laps.
Yeah, they were the only leaders, but he led the most until he got bumped and run because Mayer, what happened lap 1 incident between him and Chase Cabry, that put Sam Mayer with the black flag, so that's how Davis took the lead. But Davis was strong in that 30 car. Spencer Davis trying to get his second K&N win, only has 1 so far, but
let's talk about the point standings real quick. After that event, Sam Mayer still holds on the points lead. He extends the championship over from Chase Cabray, who is now minus 22 points. Max McLaughlin's minus 37 in third. Tanner Gray, 4th, minus 39. And Spencer Davis, 5th, minus 49 points. They go to Gateway for round 10 of 12, which we'll talk about in a moment. Who's going to have the upper end in the East Series?
For me, East Series, I think Sam Mayer, because Sam Mayer almost won the ARCA race until Ty Gibbs gave him a bump and run. But I don't know if Ty Gibbs in the race, possibly. We don't know yet until the entry list will probably be out tomorrow or on Wednesday. We'll have the entry list. So we'll know who's on the entry list. But I think Sam Mayer will be the upper hand in the East.
I'm gonna go with just because my coworker likes him even though she doesn't watch racing at all, I'm gonna go with Chase Cabry.
He might have a setback, however. He did get a back injury, or he had some sort of he had a back injury after
back pain. I can relate.
We'll talk about that in later times, but there's a rivalry brewing right now between Mayer and Cabray, and it's a little controversial.
Well,
it's not everybody favored the move Sam Mayer made on Chase Cabray, but let's talk about
same thing with Ty Gibbs made the move back. Oh, Ty Gibbs should watch his back if Sam Mayer's near him at one point in
Yeah.
another race.
Let's go on and talk about the West Series now. They had a race Saturday night at Evergreen Speedway
Yeah.
in Washington State. This was round 9 of 14. Trevor Huddleston won the race. He led 85 laps en route to his victory. Derek Kraus finished second. He led 20 laps. Brittany Zamora third. She led 45 laps. Trevor Moriarty.
Yep, and then
Fourth.
7.
And Jagger Jones, the grandson of Parnelli, finished fifth.
So basically, in that race, the highest rookie was Brittany Zamora because she is a rookie. So she was the highest one.
Yeah, she
out of
started
all
on pole,
rookies.
led 45 laps in the race.
That's good because some races she doesn't do the best, but that was good. That's good for her.
Let's talk about standings now. After 9 races, Derek Kraus has the championship lead, 18 points over Trevor Huddleston. Haley Deegan is third, minus 22 points. Jagger Jones, fourth, minus 28. And Brittany Zamora, minus 62 in fifth. The next race that we'll talk about now, we're going to talk about the next race, which is Gateway. For them, it's round 10 of 14. This is a combo race, just like Iowa. The East and the West Series merge in one.
Yep.
And Gateway.
This is the second time they did it. They did it once last year. That was Derek Kraus that won last year. He won basically. Yeah, it was basically the combo race the first time. This is his second annual running of this race.
Yeah,
combo race.
And so I think Derek Kraus will win it again.
Well, for me, I think Nate.
All right, let's talk about. Let's move on to the other form of racing. We had motocross on the headlines here. This was round 11 of 12 at Budds Creek in Mechanicsville, Maryland. Eli Tomac has made history, and he won both motos. And in this race, he clinched the championship, becoming the 4th rider in history to complete the trifecta, joining Ricky Carmichael, Tony DiStefano, and Gary Jones in that club of three-peat winners.
Nice.
So here's the results after round 11. Eli Tomac, of course, won. He finished 1-1 in his motos. The Kawasaki. Jason Anderson second, 4-2, and second in his motos. And the Husqvarna. Marvin Musquin swept the motos third, so he's third overall. Ken Roxon, Dan's favorite driver. Ken runner-up Roxon, second in his first moto, 7th, and his second, 4th overall. And Zach Osborne, 5th. So, yeah, as the standings show.
God, Justin.
Holy crap.
So, in the standings now, Tomac, of course, clinched the title, even though there's one more race left. Marvin Musquin is second. The battle for second in points is still on. Musquin is minus 50, while Roxon is minus 55. And the battle for 4th in points is still on, too, because you have Jason Anderson minus 100 and Zach Osborne is minus 111. So there's one more round left, and that is the Ironman in Crawfordsville, Indiana, which is this weekend for round 12, the season finale of the 2019 Lucas Oil AMA motocross season. Now on to the Pinty Series, Justin. They raced in Antigonish, Nova Scotia at the Riverside Speedway.
Yep. That was a really good race that Jason Hathaway in that number 3 car won over DJ Kennington. And you also had that Kevin LaCroix got 6. He led the most laps and finished 6. And Donald Chisholm starting the pole. He got the last car on the lead lap. So, and about like that race was interesting. For once, TJ Reno Mato was not in that race as a rookie. They decided to put Kerry Mix, but that they start in park. But that was a good race. And Donald Teague out of the race, suspension broke on that 24 car. And the points leader is still Kevin LaCroix in that 74 car.
Actually, no, it's Andrew Ranger.
Oh,
Yeah,
I forgot
Andrew Ranger has
Ranger.
the points lead.
Shit, I forgot about
Yeah,
Ranger.
Kevin Lacroix finished 6th. He led 195 laps and fell short. But Andrew Ranger has the points lead now. Kevin Lacroix, second, minus 11. LP Dumoulin, Luis Felipe Dumoulin, is third, minus 17. Alex Tagliani is fourth in points, minus 33. And DJ Kennington is fifth in points, minus 57. Their next race is this weekend at Mossport. It's one of the companion events to the Truck Series
Yeah,
race.
that race is at 11 a.m. Eastern. Just to warn if you live in the West Coast, for you guys, it is at, if it's 11 a.m. Eastern, it is at 8 a.m. Pacific. If you guys want to see it, if you live in the West, just to warn you.
Hey, listen, there's this tweet where IndyCar put out where it shows Santino Ferrucci getting through the wreck on lap 1, and then and then someone retweeted saying, "See what happens when you listen to your spotter." I just instantly thought of Natalie Decker of Bristol.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Okay, on to the Whelen Modified, Justin. We had a race at the Thompson Speedway. This was the Bud King of Beers 150. Round 11 of 16 in the Whelen Modified Tour. Doug Coby took the win, leading 94 laps. Judson Bonsignor led 41 laps. He finished second. Third place was Craig Lutz, who led 35 laps. John McKennedy finished fourth. He led 3 laps. And Timmy Solomito finished fifth. And the championship points after Thompson, Doug Coby has 473 points to his name. He has a 47-point lead over Bonsignor and Ronnie Silk. They're tied in the championship points. Ron Silk had a bad race. So they're tied for second now in points of minus 47 below Doug Coby. Lutz is fourth in points, minus 85, and minus 107 is Eric Goodale in fifth.
Dale?
Okay, so there's that. I think I named everything now.
Danny, you there? Danny.
Crickets. Crickets.
Danny.
Danny.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest tonight. He is a Hall of Famer.
I got it.
Wait, I heard about. By the way, this guy that is from Belgium is going to race the 99 for BJ McLeod in the Xfinity race. Loris Heismans, I think. He's from Belgium. He's going to be racing for BJ McLeod Motorsports. I guess that's the driver of the 99 that they announced today. Yeah.
All right. So is that everything?
We know there's the Penny Series race at Canadian Tire this weekend. We got the was it? Oh, the combo race, K&N combo.
Yeah,
at Gateway. We have, that's basically what's going on this weekend.
Hey, look at the chat. We got Beast Mode 56 saying, I should be a special guest sometime. Yeah, come in once or twice. Absolutely.
If you want to come on next week, just shoot me a DM either on Twitter or Instagram, which I will give in a second. And then we can make it happen. All right, so that's everything. So you guys know the drill. Shoot your.
Have fun now. Wins the 2019.
Hold on. Before we do that, do we still do Google Hangouts? No, because YouTube decided to get rid of that for some stupid reason.
Hey, YouTube did not just do that. The year before in 2017, they got rid of the YouTube editor. That's what I used to edit some of my videos, like my day in the life video that I did once. So basically, they took out that too. They took out some things, but
we use StreamYard.
Yeah, StreamYard that the duck with the headphones. That's always the weirdest logo when I first got on. Like, why is there a duck wearing headphones?
All right, I'm gonna
yeah.
unmute Danny and give him a chance to shout out his social media.
Oh, let's go.
Just having a mental breakdown.
What?
Danny, okay, we're give your social media. We're signing off.
Oh, follow me at Lobus Daddy on Twitter and Danny Aguero 48 on YouTube.
All right.
Follow me on Twitter, JLP Snipes.
Hey, follow my Instagram at JustinBear88. Follow my Twitter at YT NASCAR, and follow my subscribe to my YouTube channel NASCAR88.
Okay, hold on. I'll say it before, like, I need to calm myself down a little bit from all this laughter. All right. Follow me on Instagram at Velocity87_. Follow me on Twitter at 87Velocity. Follow us on Twitter at WR Media Group. Follow us on Instagram at World Racing Media. Follow us on Facebook at World Racing Media. Thank you guys for tuning into this edition of the Below the Line podcast. Tom and Jerry 69. And remember, folks, to stay off the damn weed.
Oh,
Duh.
All
get you on
right.
the flip side.
All right, remember Beast Mode, just send me a DM on either Instagram, like I said, at Velocity87_, or on Twitter at 87Velocity, and we can get you on. All right, folks, take care.
Peace out.